giving you the real surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with your host, Skywalker Steel.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Chip, chip. Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Skywalker Morning Show. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steel. Boom! You know we got to bring it in with energy, man. It's Monday. It's Cowboys OTA week, and I've got some hot storylines to follow. Look, it's helmets, it's shorts, but the storylines are popping. I'm going to get into it. I got 3 of them. I don't want to give them all away because I want to hear from y'all, right? So call into the show, 351-999-3787. We'll talk about it. Plus, in the roundup, Stephen Jones spoke last week. We are going to dive into a little bit more on that. He has some things to say about these weapons. And the new dynamic duo popped out this weekend at a celebrity softball game. And look, our guy, CD Lamb, let it known. He let it be known what it is and what it ain't. So we're going to talk about that as well in the roundup. But good morning, Bomb Squad. How you doing?
Bomb Squad!
First of all, man, shouts out to the new subscribers we got here. Dropped a video the other day, and you guys showed hella love on the video, and it garnered a lot of new people. So if you are new here, please hit that like button. Please enjoy what you've seen, and welcome in the new people, y'all. Like Bomb Squad, don't be too hard on the new folk. But I appreciate you guys checking out the video. It was a deep dive into Clayton Adams. A lot of you guys that are here, that are day ones that watch the show, you guys know I did a deep dive on live, right, on Clayton Adams, but decided to put it in video form because I felt like more people needed to know about our guy Clayton Adams. I'm really excited about what he could do for not just this run game, but this offense in general. So if you haven't checked it out, head on over, check it out. And if you are new, welcome to the show, man. We have a lot of fun on the actual live show. It's a little different from our video form, right? But it is what it is. How was y'all weekend? My weekend was very, very good. Had a good weekend. Ready to talk some Cowboys with you guys. I've got a nice week lined up for you. OTAs begin today. So they're down at the Star. They'll practice Tuesday. Media will be able to be out there. So there'll be media availability, asking questions. They'll talk about what they've seen and whatnot. And Wednesday, I'll have a guest on, and we'll be talking about what they saw, what we've heard, what we've seen from OTAs. So pretty good weekend. Good weekend lined up for you. Appreciate that, Sir Lawrence. Appreciate all love from that video. You guys showed out. That's y'all. If it wasn't for you guys showing love on that video, it wouldn't have went off like it did. So appreciate that, man. With that said, all the pleasantries out the way, as my guy would say. Let's get into this roundup and get into the show.
It's time. It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So, again, Stephen Jones had a lot to say last week at this, PBR event? I think we talked a little bit about some of what he said in regards to George Pickens, but he also spoke about the importance of weapons, which, you don't normally hear Stephen Jones bring that aspect of it up. But this is what he said, quote, "When you break the huddle, you want weapons. Certainly, we were needing that. You bring the juice of a Jaden Blue that we drafted. That's why we picked him. You see a lot of times a 4-4 beside a guy's name and you turn on the tape and say, where is it? It's the opposite with him." They asked him, what are the challenges of getting these guys the ball, etc. And that's for Shotty, by the way. And he said it's a challenge that you certainly have to surround yourself with a great staff. And I feel like he's done that. I feel like his staff brings the same energy the coach Shotty brings to the table. In general, it feels like there's a high energy level and I see players responding to it. You know, going back to the video I talked about with Clayton Adams, he brings that type of energy. And, you know, jokingly, we talked about, you know, Sleepy Solari or Sleepy Joe and Joe Philbin, right? These really old offensive line guys, with all due respect, they know more football than they forgot more football than I know, right? But at some point, you know, you've got to be able to get to these guys. And it felt like, you know, based off of some of the things we've heard behind the scenes, Solari just really couldn't coach these boys up. He couldn't get the best out of them. Joe Philbin, where's Joe Philbin now, right? Like in Vegas somewhere. I don't know where Joe Philbin's at, right? He's never been looked at as an offensive line guru. And Solari's past his prime. Clayton Adams is in his prime. A little younger, right? He's shown to get the best out of these guys. And it's not just Clayton Adams. This whole staff, like Stephen Jones talked about, that Shotty put together is bringing an entirely different vibe to this team and to these players. And you just hope that it translates on the field. But so far, I think the staff is hitting it out the park, or Shotty per se is hitting it out the park with the guys he brought in. And you know, I heard some people say, you know, this is like the Joneses. No, this is Brian Schottenheimer putting this staff together, in my opinion. We've got to give him credit. Absolutely have to give him credit for putting this staff together. Because look, we do know this. If the Joneses have a guy, we'll know that guy, right? Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore. We'll know that guy well beforehand. I don't think the Joneses went into this hire of Shotty with a guy. They just said, okay, we'll let Shotty pick his staff. And if it's not their son, that's what we like to call it, right? Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore, that's a little babies. Then they'll let the head coach pick their dudes. Just look at Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy brought in all his boys. And that first year, it didn't work out. So this is Shotty picking this staff, and hopefully it works out. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens went to Kyler Murray's softball game, and you know, we've been having fun with the conversation of, you know, wide receiver 2, 1B, what have you. This is what CeeDee Lamb had to say about it.
Oh, no, we both ones.
Yeah.
It ain't no A, B, none of that. It's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
Period. I love how simple. And he's not lying. You know, he's not lying. And I know we've kind of been, at least let me just speak for me. Because, you know, we got the whole, he's more than that to me. The wide receiver 2 situation, it is what it is. I've called him 1B, but you know what? I feel you, CD. You look over here, it's a 1. You look over there, it's another 1. Pickett said you can't double everybody, man. You're going to have to figure that problem out. And it's been a while, you know, it's been a while since the Cowboys have had that problem, if you will, or given defenses that problem. And I love when me and Vach had a conversation, you know, we were talking about how the Cowboys have really never ran into a situation where both of their top 2 guys were in their primes, if that makes sense. You know, when we got Amari, he was in his prime, but CD was a young buck. And then by the time Amari was up out of here, that's when CD started to ascend into his prime, right? And you would have to probably go all the way back to maybe T.O. and Terry Glenn, and that was 1 year. Dez and Miles Austin didn't get a chance to really groove like that because Miles Austin kept getting hurt. They tried to pair T.O. with Roy Williams. That didn't work out, and Roy and Dez didn't work out. So if this can work this year and hopefully beyond, I don't want this to be a rental, but we'll see. This will be the first time in quite some time that they'll have these 2 type of wide receivers for an extended period of time. But that latter part is something we'll have to see. But he said we them ones. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. All right, Cowboys Nation. Woke you up, didn't I? Woke you up. Shouts out to you guys joining me this morning. You could be anywhere, but you're starting your Cowboy day off with me. Shouts out to X. We just went live over on Twitter. If you want to follow me over there, you can. Skywalker Steel to keep up with everything we got going on here on the show. Also, shouts out to the new members of the channel. Appreciate you guys for looking out. But yeah, man, I know it's been about 2 weeks now or whatever it is with the George Pickens thing, but it's really, really exciting. And the only thing that's weird right now is what's his number? You know, he was out there with 14, and we know that Marquise Bell has 14, but what's his number? I'm interested to see that. But he should be out there this week, right? Getting familiar with Dak, probably in the Dak yard at some point. Get familiar with this offensive playbook, which I do think will be different. Maybe the verbiage won't be, but I think the style of this playbook will be different than it's been in years past. And we talked about those nuggets, and we'll dive into more of those nuggets as we go on. But I am very curious to see Pickens out there early. I don't think this is something where you're bringing him in here and we're just trying to get him acclimated in the middle of the season like a JaVante Mingo. No, we're hitting the ground running right away. And I'm excited to see those two guys next to each other. Old Tino Santiago talks about wide receiver 3 role. Hold tight. We're going to get into it. Hold tight. Just saw a super drop here from Joe. Appreciate you, Joe.
Super chat.
Drop 2 and said, we wanted weapons and we got them. Smith and Wesson. It'd be crazy if one of their last name was Smith. That'd be kind of cold, though. But I do want to talk about today some of these storylines heading into OTAs. I usually make a list, right? I usually do this every year, you know.
You just made the list.
So I got a little watch list personally that I was thinking about heading into OTAs. And we'll dive into this even in more detail once I break down each position group in our series that we do. But today I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about what was on my mind. And one of the things that was on my mind for the Cowboys heading into OTAs was this running back rotation. Steven actually talked about this, or not Steven, I'm sorry, brought this up. And I don't even know if I want to use the word reports, but in his opinion, and it's a highly respected opinion, he believes the Cowboys are done making any moves at running back for the time being. And I get it. They didn't get a workhorse back in the draft. They didn't sign a high-end free agent, right? This is the running back room. It is what it is. Now it's up to these guys to separate themselves, and they're going to stick with them, and they'll probably stick with them till we get to training camp, because you really can't see much in OTAs, but there are a few things that I will be trying to pay attention to. The room, though, in of itself, it's wide open. In my opinion, there's only one known role, if you will. And Stephen Jones hinted at that when he talked about Blue. You can say what you want to say about Blue. I believe he has a role on this team. Now, he has to go out there and he has to prove it. Apologies. Check. Just make sure the mic is good. All right. He has to go out there and he has to prove it. But we talked about this when we broke him down and rating the draft. He brings something to this room that you just don't have in it. And I'm not saying he's going to be the workhorse or the number one or anything like that, but he is 100% going to be a part of this rotation, whether you want to call him a change of pace back, a satellite back, the number 2, whatever you want to call him. It doesn't matter. He's going to have a role. And I'm pretty confident to say that. Everybody else, though, I would say is fighting for a specific role on this team. There's guys who may be in the lead, right? But everybody else is fighting. And I will say this. JaVante Williams is probably the one right now that, if I had to guess, the coaches have the most trust in, right? He's shown that he can be a 3-down back. He's shown he can work in a committee. He's a veteran. And they didn't go out and really get that workhorse to usurp him, I think. Now, you could argue some of these other guys can jump him, and that's perfectly fine. But here's the thing about everybody in this room, really. They've all got a chip on their shoulder. They've all got something to prove. Williams was benched last year. He was benched. And it could be because they wanted to see some young guys. I believe it was, who was it? The Estimate kid from Notre Dame. And they just were saying, you know what? This is it for JaVante Williams. We want to see these young dudes. The first 9 games, he had 10 plus carries in 6 of them. The last 8 games, he had 0 games where he touched the ball double-digit times from a rushing standpoint. So JaVante Williams could be looking at this situation like, all right, this is my chance to prove to people I still can be, a lead guy. And again, if I had to guess based off of how they attacked the position, I would imagine he's got the lead today. But that's not really saying much because, we've got to wait till we get to camp and beyond. Miles Sanders, right? Another guy with a chip on his shoulder. He fell off in Carolina. They signed him to be the guy. If you guys remember a couple years ago, we went back and there was the running back market. I want to say this was the David Montgomery free agency period. Miles Sanders was up there. It wasn't a crazy bag, but he was up there in regards to free agent running backs that got signed. And it didn't take long. He got to Carolina, and Chuba Hubbard was like, nah, that's mine. Chuba Hubbard took that position and ran away with it. And you can't really say, oh, well, Sky was Carolina. Sky is a bad team. Well, how do you explain Chuba Hubbard rushing for almost 5 yards a carry last year and 2,000 rushing yards over the last 2 seasons? 15 touchdowns. That's more than just, oh, Carolina sucks. That's, you're not better than me. I'm taking your job. And Miles Sanders has been trying to find that magic that he had in Philadelphia in 2022. And it just hasn't been, right? Now, again, chip on his shoulder. He has a chance to prove it here in Dallas. New scheme, new coaching, new everything for him. So maybe he's that guy. Personally, I think he's fighting an uphill battle. Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn is probably the happiest guy to see a new run scheme. His offensive line coach, right? His college offensive line coach is here. I'd imagine he might be the happiest dude in that room. I'm a little biased, okay? I'm a bias to my short kings, man. As a fellow short king myself, I'm rooting for Deuce Vaughn, man. I want to see Deuce Vaughn tear this thing up, right? I want to see him go out there. But I have to understand that hasn't been the case. I still believe he is a much better runner than he showcased because they've thrown Deuce Vaughn out there. And, he's been out there with backups. He's been out there in blowouts and just in unfortunate situations. But I have to be fair. Deuce Vaughn is going to have to prove that he's like that as a runner because I don't think he's going to be somebody they trust in pass protection. I don't think he's a special teams guy, right? So he's going to have to crush it as a pure runner. And I'd argue maybe he might be the best pure runner of the bunch, but he has to get out there and do it, right? And then there's, I ain't that short game. And then there's Phil Maffa. Talk about fighting an uphill battle. 7th round picks usually are fighting an uphill battle, but this is a downhill runner. This is just a flat out bowling ball, 234 pound, just try to run you over. I don't think he's very much creative as a runner. Obviously, if you give him a runway, though, look the hell out. So hopefully the Cowboys can give all these guys a runway. But yeah, like I said, fighting uphill battle, but he's a downhill runner. So, Phil Maffa's got a chance. This room is there is no high profile running back. There is no high priced free agent. So each and every one of these guys has an opportunity. The competition should be fierce. It should be. We'll see. Because I've went into these camps before thinking the same thing. And left camp like, left free agent or not free agent, left preseason like, let's go see what we got, right? So there's something to each and every one of these guys. Obviously, Blue is just lightning fast. I think he's going to be a dynamic weapon for the Cowboys. JaVante Williams has that kind of mature game. He's been around the block, but he's trying to bounce all the way back from his injury. He's very underrated as a pass catcher. Very, very underrated. You go look at his time in Denver. Caught a lot of passes out the backfield. I actually think he'd be the guy they trust most on third down. Deuce, I think, might be the best runner of the bunch. He's just, it is what it is. He's 5'6". You know, he's not going to be a guy you give the ball to a bunch, like 20 times or whatever. And then, you know, Phil Maffa is just size, just straight up tank size. And you wonder if he could fit in a committee approach, because I think this will be a committee approach. If you look at this room, I don't think you come away with this thing saying, yeah, we're going to roll with one guy. They might roll with more than two guys. This might be a thing where they're running with 3 different runners throughout this process, because they don't have just one dude at the moment in the room. But is there potential? Sure. I'm not going to write this room off. I'm just more of a wait and see approach, because outside of Jaden Blue, who I think has his role stamped, I think the rest is fighting for reps, for snaps, for a role. I do. I absolutely do. Let's wrap the D shift real quick before we get on to our next part of the show. What's good with your D shift? Good morning, sir. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, y'all. My bad. There was no audio from him. My bad. Go ahead. You didn't ask your question yet. I heard you, but they didn't hear you.
Okay, so I was saying that we got the best quarterback in the division. I think by the end of the year, could it be enough to have this interior of the offensive line emerge as dominant enough, and then have Pickens and Lamb go out to solidify themselves as being the best duo in the division? Could that be enough to kind of let your tackles and your running backs be average, so to say? How much could that benefit if those positions can go out and dominate and live up to that potential that we kind of see in them? Could that alleviate anything and help you out at least make it past the divisional round?
Oh, okay. So that's an added context there. Well, aside from that, if you get domination from Pickens and Lamb, and you said your interior, and you said enough to where your tackles are average, I would definitely live with that. I definitely think you can go far with that from an offensive standpoint. But now we're talking about playoffs. I do think there's still some question marks lingering on the other side of the ball defensively, right? The interior run defense can Flus clean that up, and then just run game in general. I think the run game improves, but can it be depended on? Like, I think it's going to improve by default, just because you're going to have better coaching, better scheme. You've upgraded your interior. I just think by default, your run game has the potential to improve. But there's a difference to me between improving from what we've seen over the last few years and then being able to lean on it, right? You get into the playoffs, you're up against a team that's not letting you air that thing out. Maybe you had to go on the road somewhere and you need to kind of lean on that run game. Maybe Dak's not on. Maybe the pass game's off. Can you turn around and lean on these guys? I think that's a huge question mark. I don't know that you can confidently say yes without seeing this room just quite yet. Basing it off of paper, I would say no right now. So to answer your question at the end, I don't know that them dominating in the regular season would be enough if we're not serious about the run game and if we're not serious about the run defense. So we might need a little more than that, Disha.
Okay, and then also you brought up the name Eberflus, man. So I was just wondering, could he kind of give a notch to those linebackers? So those linebackers are kind of the unknown as well, but you got the health of Overshown. We're going to see if Maris can take a step. And then what you got in Kenneth Murray, right? So you can't automatically say that it's a trash room, but, we can't give it the nod either. And, we're just talking about playoffs and health of guys like Overshown and Diggs coming back, maybe. So I was just curious, man, just hearing you talk, bro, just seeing where the gauge is right now. I overall feel the same way as you. I'm tempering everything. Optimistic. Optimism is back, but it's not really like championship optimism. It's just like, at least we ain't going to be crap this year, So, man, I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate the call, man. Good stuff, D-Ship. Yeah, I can't wait to talk more about the linebacker room in our series. It's, again, very, very interesting, And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit about it a little bit later on in the show. But, Flus, again, maybe I need to do, somebody asked this in one of the comments about me wanting to do a Eberflus documentary type style video. Maybe I should, because we detailed Flus on the show. Don't get it twisted. Everywhere he's been as a defensive coordinator, or at least I shouldn't say everywhere, it's been a couple spots, he's had success as a defensive coordinator. Even as a head coach, his defenses, for the most part, had some success in some aspect of it. So I do think Flus will help the defense, but much like Mike Zimmer, there's certain parts of the defense you just can't say, yo, Flus, here, take 37-year-old Linval Joseph and make magic happen. Take Jordan Phillips and make magic happen, right? Like, you got to give him something to work with too. But linebacker, he's like a linebacker guru. And I like a couple of these backers. Let me hold tight, though, because we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Let me hold tight. Let me get to the second part here. He talked about the wide receiver room. He talked about if Lamb and Pickens play up to their potential, right? Be wonderful. But this wide receiver 3 battle is going to be fun. Maybe not the biggest names or whatever, but we feel much better about a Jalen Tolbert versus Jonathan Mingo for wide receiver 3, right? Or throw in KaVontae Turpin, Holden, whatever you want to do. We feel much better and more confident about that battle for wide receiver 3 than we do for wide receiver 2, right, Cowboys Nation? Can we all agree on that? Because George Pickens is here. So the other wide receiver, we'll call it that because we ain't gonna call it wide receiver 2, right? The other one is locked down. Jalen Tolbert, coming off a career year, he's obviously trending up. I think he's in the driver's seat right now. We'll see when we get to camp. But much like that running back room, these dudes in here got something to prove too, specifically Jonathan Mingo. He's still chasing pay dirt. He hasn't even scored a touchdown yet. So, he's probably going to play pissed off. KaVontae Turpin, talked about Turpin being, and I hate to use the term, gadget player, but I mean, shoot, he might be the perfect definition of one because you can do so many different things with KaVontae Turpin. Hell, they were running him out the backfield, downhill, the jet sweeps, screens. He can get deep. I liken him to, in the Rams offense, a Tutu Atwell, but he can do a little bit more, in my opinion. So maybe KaVontae turns into and morphs into your 3. But what I'm getting at here, if you really listen to this may be a wide receiver 3 by committee. This may be a situation where it fluctuates week to week, game plan, team to team. Maybe one week, this team struggles with a power slot, right? A big slot. So you put Jonathan Mingo out there in the slot and you have CeeDee Lamb just tear up whoever cornerback 1 is because they're not good out there. Maybe one week it's, hey, this cornerback 3 struggles with quickness, shiftiness. He can't keep up. So you throw Turpin out there. Maybe one week is you run 11 personnel out there and you love the matchup of CeeDee Lamb in the slot and you want to put Tolbert out there out wide. At this current moment, I might be in favor for that. I'm more in favor for let's kind of week to week this thing for wide receiver 3. But we know CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, 1, 2, 3. Those guys are going to be your top targets throughout the season. What happens if somebody, knock on wood, y'all, suffers an injury. What happens if for a week or two or more, God forbid, right? Tolbert or Mingo has to go out there and be wide receiver 2 for an extended period of time. That's where wide receiver 3 really starts to stand out, because that now turns from, hey, week to week, game plan, team to team, to now we got to lean on you to be that other guy, that guy to take advantage of one-on-ones, et cetera, et cetera. Is that guy in the building? Tolbert has had the most opportunities to be that guy last year. Mingo, much like, funny because coming from Carolina, much like Miles Sanders, just got his spot taken by a couple different dudes, specifically, I think, an undrafted guy, and he just fell out of favor up there, and then got here in Dallas and just happened to have Cooper Rush at quarterback. So it's kind of hard to judge him much, but maybe Mingo could be that guy. Again, we don't know. I'm not really going to sit here and try to blow smoke up y'all, right? Like, I'm not going to do that to y'all, man. I need to see JaVante Mingo get out there. He'll be in camp for the Cowboys. That's a good thing. We don't have to project in the middle of the season. I think that is going to help him, and he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. So maybe Mingo can take over that role. But right now, I think it is Jonathan Taylor. I think it is Jalen Tolbert in the driver's seat. JV, I just happened to look over. JV said, "What about Flournoy? So Flournoy is cut? No, he's not cut. He's still on the team. He's going to be battling with Brooks and Holdens of the worlds. If you wanted to look at the locks on this team, and I do think there's 5 of them, Flournoy ain't it, Brooks ain't it, Holden ain't it. Those guys will be fighting for the 6th spot if there's going to be 6. You know, some years they've won in there with 6. Some years they've won in there with 5. That is going to come down to roster gymnastics. And this year could be a situation where they go a little lighter to go longer elsewhere. So that, we got a long way to go till we get to that part of it. But unfortunately, barring injury right now, I don't see Flournoy, Brooks, or Holden as guys as locks to make this roster. They'll be fighting for the 6th spot, that last spot, and it'll likely come down to special teams, right? Turpin, we know, is super special team guy. Mingo, he's played special team because he had to. Tolbert, same way. So can you make yourself so valuable to Nick Sorensen, I think, who is the new special teams coach, that they elect to keep you? I know that might sound crazy, right? Man, you keeping a 6th receiver because of special teams. He's going to have to play it, especially if he's going to be a part of 46. So it's very early, but I would pencil in 6. I'm not really sold on it will be 6 just quite yet. There's a lot of things to work out, a lot of roster gymnastics that might have to happen, honestly. Yeah, preseason is going to be very, very critical for those guys, Dre. Let's get back to the horns real quick. We got 757. You are live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Steel. It's a pleasure to finally actually talk to you.
Hey, man.
Brand new subscriber of yours.
Hey, appreciate that, man. And always a pleasure to talk to y'all, but thank you for subbing up.
Yeah, I was listening to some of your conversation when you started with the running back room, and on paper, Mr. Steel, I agree with you. It doesn't look, the running back room doesn't look like it's fully set, but I will tell Cowboys fans this. I said, don't doubt some of these running backs. Like, a lot of people are doubting Miles Sanders and saying that he might be washed. I would tell folks, when you put Miles Sanders under a great offensive line, he can do damage. I've asked Eagle friends who are friends of mine, they even say themselves that the pickup for Sanders will help us out because Sanders is better with a better offensive line. And let's be honest, it's Carolina. Carolina has a very terrible O-line. I don't think any running back can succeed behind that outside of Hubbard.
Well, yeah, there you go. I was about to say, well, how do you explain Chuba Hubbard just going off there? You know what I mean? Like, they signed Miles Sanders to be the dude, and Hubbard just took it. So I think skepticism on Sanders is fair.
Yeah, but then when we look back on his time with Philly, we was wondering how the heck was Sanders playing this field with Philly.
Yeah, that's something I mentioned earlier. He's trying to capture the magic from that 2022 season. But look, I love our new guys we got up there, but that offensive line is a little different in Philly, right? The run game is a little different. Stoutland University, a little different. We're trying to get there, right? And I do believe Clayton Adams will improve this team for sure. I do.
Oh, absolutely. Clayton Adams definitely will improve it because with the reaction I saw from Cardinals fans when Adams took a job with Dallas, a lot of these Cardinal fans won't admit it, but they're very concerned that their season is going to be very bad because Adams was their best position coach on their team, and it showed when his Cardinals beat our Cowboys in Week 3, and when they embarrassed Philadelphia at home.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, this is going to be a great hire.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, with all these running backs we got, I think the Cowboys definitely can make something happen with these guys because I already can tell that Jaden Blue's most likely going to be our new RB1 the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Because I don't know if he'll be RB1. I thought you were going to say he'll be our new weapon. I definitely think he'll have a role. I don't know if it'll be, the number 1 role, but he definitely will have a role.
Now, I'm just a little more optimistic, Mr. Steele, in the running room because I've been a Cowboys fan going on since 2007, and I've seen many a different running back play on this team. I mean, and I tell Cowboys fans, don't get too pessimistic out the gate. I tell folks, remember, back when we didn't have DeMarco Murray, we brought in Darren McFadden. This guy had 1,000 yards with us. Raider fans couldn't understand how that happened. And everybody says the Cowboys' offensive line can make any running back good. And I think that's what the Cowboys are trying to do.
Yeah.
With Tyler Booker.
And I remember that year, 2015, that we still had a dynamic offensive line. And, even before Draw, Steele, and Randall, who was it? Joseph Randall got, cut. He was decent. It wasn't crazy, but he was decent. But then DMC came in there and he was much better. But did he make a difference? Nah, he didn't make a crazy difference, but he had a solid year. That's for damn sure.
I think that's what we all want to see with our running RBs. We want to see them have at least a solid year with us. Also, that ties into the thing with Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, a little more, but yeah.
We want Tolbert to have a solid year as well, sir. And that's why I got this really weird feeling, Mr. Steele. You might want to quote me on this, but I got a feeling that Jalen Tolbert is going to be our era's Patrick Creighton. We all remember the ups and downs with Creighton. 1 minute you don't make a play, the next you see Creighton out of nowhere make a touchdown for us.
Hey, now wait. Patrick Creighton does not. He left a bad taste in Cowboy fans' mouth with that drop in the divisional round. But I get what you're saying.
Oh God, that was scary.
I get what you're saying. You're basically saying that he could be a very reliable, safe wide receiver.
Number 3.
Yeah. So for me, I was hoping maybe a Cedric Wilson type, but hell, Cedric Wilson, he had a drop or two in the playoffs too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or maybe not Sam Hurd because that man off the field.
That's cocaine cowboy right there.
Yeah. What's his Glenn boy? Terry Glenn.
He was a 2, but yeah, man, shit, he turned into Terry Glenn, man. We cooking now.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Kind of like Boston Marty was like your boy Voch was saying. We're going to go to corral if that's happening.
Hell yeah. I might have to belly him out of jail, man. But appreciate the call. Good stuff, man. And welcome to the channel. Enjoy it.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing on the Cowboys Collective, by the way.
Thank you. Hey.
You have a good one, sir.
Hold on real quick. They said in the chat you sounded like. Oh, he gone. Okay. They said in the chat he sounded like the feds because he keep calling me Mr. Steve. Hey, look. He's still on the phone. I thought y'all go. I appreciate that, by the way, brother. I trust and believe me, but it makes me feel mature up in here. But thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
By the way, I'm calling from your neck of the woods too, in Massachusetts, right in Framingham.
My neck of the woods?
Yeah, I'm in Massachusetts right now.
Oh, I'm from PA, brother. I'm in PA.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
Sorry. The area code says Massachusetts. That's why.
Oh yeah, this is just the phone number that online number so crazy people can't have my real number. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Well, yeah, like I said, appreciate it always, and be careful of them Steelers fans, man. They out to get us right now. They feel like we done robbed them.
Trust me, I know. I ran into a couple already. They sick right now. They sick. Appreciate the call.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Did somebody say try to put a Rico case on me? Hey, Special K, get out of here, dog. He said they about to put a Rico on me. That's wild. So look, I gotta. If you knew my background, that's hilarious, for real, for real. That's hilarious. Let me get one more before I get to my last storyline, man, and wrap to y'all. 205, what's good?
What's good, Skywalker?
Hey, wait a minute. Is this Uncle Charles?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
What's happening?
What's good, Uncle? It's been a while, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. Just trying to take care of my parents because they don't got old now, so I have to work and take care of them and things like that. And I've been doing a lot of night shows.
Damn.
Yeah, man. There's been a night show, but I've been trying to catch me, man. Every time I be listening to the show, I just go on sleep, man. And, got to get my rest. You know how that is.
Yes, sir.
But can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gents, we got a chance to do something very special this year. And only we the ones that can do it. Now, we need the fan support for our team. So don't act like you lost your mind and like you don't know what I'm talking about. I heard a Philadelphia content creator say this on TV, on YouTube. He said, Dallas Cowboys is not America's team. That right there, he could have said anything. But when he said that made me mad. Now, you could have tipped around and said anything else, and I said, okay, I'll just take that off the back. But when you said we're not America's team anymore, that went to my heart. So let me just say this. For you guys that got drafted, you're going out there and you're fighting for a job. Because that young man from Oregon, you know what he said he's going to do? He said he's coming for heads. He coming with the guillotine. So you know what he's finna do. So he ain't playing around. He come to get a job. Let me tell you something. If you're in practice and it's hard for you, then get past it. Because I'm going to tell you something. Before you hold your head down and say, I can't run no more, have you ever been chased by a pit bull with slob coming out of his mouth with his teeth hanging to the ground?
I have.
I tell you what, just go ahead. You ain't gonna be tired then. So I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a truckload of pit bulls and everybody will be running.
Hey,
and
I
this is how it's supposed to be. This is the urgent time now. See, Jerry Jones said we was all in. And the results came out that we was all out. See, when you stop buying jerseys, hats, coffee mugs, boxers, socks, and that money come down, then what we doing on sale? We lost about 30%. Oh, man, we got to go get some players. Oh, now you get it. See, this is what I'm talking about, Skywalker. So I'm going to say this in closing. Play if you want to. How dare you say that we're not America's team? How dare you put that moniker on us? Listen, the fans have showed up for their team. So don't disrespect us like that because you're on a high horse.
Right.
And so I'm going to say this. Philadelphia said it is a city of brotherly love. But when you come out the Capitol, what do you see? A statue of Rocky. I thought y'all produced Smoking Joe Frazier, the only heavyweight champion to ever come out of Philadelphia. So now what are you talking about now? Don't ever mess with us because we're going to come for you. And your time is going to come to an end, and it's going to come to an end very soon. I'd like to appreciate you, brother. I'll call back next time.
Let him cook.
Appreciate you, Uncle Charles. Good to hear from Uncle Charles.
Yes, sir.
It's been way too long. You know, there's a lot of, like I said, new subscribers. Welcome. But he's been here since I was on a totally different channel. 2 channels ago, he was a day one. And I used to have an intro, and Uncle Charles was on the intro, man. Good to hear from him. Hope your parents are doing well, Uncle Charles. And I want to hear from him some more, man. Want to hear from you some more. But yeah, man, they idolize a fake movie character. Smoking Joe Frazier, though. Yeah, you're right. Hey, I ain't from them parts. I'm around them parts, but obviously I didn't adopt the whole Philadelphia moniker thing over there because we Cowboys Nation. We are America's team. If we weren't America's team, we wouldn't be on 7, 8 different primetime games. You know, win, lose, or draw. You're tuning in to watch the Cowboys, man. They need to stop that. Every year they try to take it away from the Cowboys. I don't think the players much care about being called America's team. I think the media They want to give it to another team, but the more they do that, they don't realize. The more you try to do that, the more you just make the moniker, the name, America's team for the Cowboys just more popular because you're doing the one thing Jerry wants you to do. You're talking about him. You're talking about him. If another team wants to be America's team, then take it. I don't see them with 8, 9 primetime games, A block of every episode. Whether it's because it's a crash out, it's a trash, whatever you want to call it, they tuning in. They tuning in, man. That's just the way it is. It's the way it is. All right, before I get to this last one, man, let me talk to you guys real quick about Mando. Yes, look, let me tell you something real quick about Mando, man. If you're looking for a new deodorant that holds up, Mando is it, brother. Look, my wife was even like, man, what? This smells better. It holds longer. This is some good ass deodorant. I'm not lying to you, man. And if it's not just like the stick of deodorant, you can get the starter pack. It comes with the spray. If you're down, here you go. If you're down for the whole body spray, you can also get the body wash. This is the bourbon leather body wash. This comes with the starter pack. And if you want to get the starter pack, head on over to shopmando.com. Use the promo code STEELE. You get up to 40% off on your starter pack. They also got the cream, you know. The starter pack pretty lit, man. And if you one of those that needs something on the go, like you're out in the weather and you just need some deodorant wipes, they got the deodorant wipes for you too. You can pick one or the other. I personally pick the bourbon leather body wash, but hey, some people, they got to wipe that sweat off. They got to get in the crevices. And if you need to get in those crevices and beyond, Mando got you. I'm telling you. Perfect for new customers is that starter pack. It comes with all of these things I just showed you. And if you head on over there right now at shopmando.com, use the promo code, you get up to 40% off. That's shopmando.com. Use the code STEELE. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando.
You're listening to Skywalker Steel.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, ain't no excuse, man. 2025, you still got BO? What we talking about here? Toxic, don't be an incel. Use Mando. Yo, I'm not lying, y'all. I ain't lying. Right now, this is my new favorite deodorant, bro. I've been on Degree for years, and I just gave them a plug, but Mando, yeah, definitely put me D. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right, let's move on here, man. Let's get to my final thing that I'm watching for. And again, I'm not touching on everything. There's many storylines. There's so many different storylines heading into today's practice and OTAs. But these are just 3 things on my mind. I still want to hear from what's on your mind in regards to OTAs. And George Pickens has dominated the headlines. Dominated them. But we forget there was some more trades that went down for the Cowboys. There were other trades that happened that could have an effect on this roster from a depth standpoint, at the very least, right? At the very least. They traded for Kiero Elim, obviously Joe Milton, and Kenneth Murray. Let's talk about Kiero Elim real quick. With Diggs likely not available for help, training camp, maybe even the beginning of the season, with Savon Ravel working his way back, they haven't added a veteran cornerback. Elam could very well start off as cornerback 2 opposite of Bland. Now, a lot has to happen for him to keep that spot, especially because you got, again, Diggs and Ravel, who who may be, you know, back sooner rather than later if all goes well with their recoveries, especially Revel. But Diggs, I don't know about that. Then you also got Carson, right? Kalen Carson's in the mix, but Elim was traded for, right? 5th round pick this year, 2026, 7th round pick. So there's a little bit of capital, a little bit more capital actually, involved with him than Carson. And Carson's from a different sponsor program. I'm looking to see if he's going to be the guy to start off camp, because I think that's going to tell us how confident they are in whether it be him, whether it be Kalen Carson. There's no Josh Butler. Josh Butler's also recovering from an ACL injury. So, you know, maybe this is one of those situations where you really get a chance to see how bleak the cornerback room is when guys are out. Obviously, at the height, everybody's healthy. I am excited about the top 3, right? Bland, Diggs, and Revel. But that's not the case right now. It's Bland and it's everybody else. And they traded for this kid to kind of give them some insurance in case maybe they didn't land a guy in the draft, but they did. So we'll see. We'll see what Elim has out there. You know, I talked about this when we first got him. To me, the film it started off great last year. Then it was very uninspiring. And then, you know, the playoff game was the playoff game. But the Bills general manager talked about how, you know, hey, it's unfortunate. The situation he was in, it didn't work out. Hopefully he's rooting for him here in Dallas. We'll see what happens. It seems like a kid that has a good head on his shoulders, going to work his ass off. And let's see what happens with him. All right. But Kiero Elim is definitely a guy I want to watch early on. Again, I will say this with OTAs. 101, 707s, you do get a chance to see a little bit more than you would see an offensive line with the running back, whatever, linebackers. You really can't hit, right? But you can cover. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. Also, Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray, maybe we haven't been really talking about him much since the trade. And some, you know, when putting this together, I was thinking about was, this is really strange because from a contract standpoint, Kenneth Murray is a starter. He's absolutely your starter. And he's been a starter in this league. He'll count $7.4 million on this year's cap. So, you know, the staff and the front office knew that when trading for this dude. And last year, you know, from a statistical standpoint, he had some numbers: 95 tackles, 52 stops, 3.5 sacks. Average depth of tackle was 3.2. This room doesn't have Eric Kendricks or DeMarvion Overshown in it. If they had those two guys in it, I'm looking at Kenneth Murray as kind of that third linebacker, that fourth linebacker, or third linebacker. It doesn't. Demo won't be ready until maybe midway through the season. And they didn't bring in another proven starter. They brought in a guy that I like, though. Jack Sanborn. You know, handpicked by Eberflus in Chicago. But we'll see where he fits. Personally, I would love to play him at middle linebacker. So the question for me is, where would you play Murray? Now, he's been middle linebacker for most of his career. I prefer Sanborn there because I think he's much better in the trash. He's a better downhill player. I just would love to see him there and let a guy like Kenneth Murray be a clean, kept clean type weak side linebacker. Let him chase, run, hit, talk shit, right? We'll see what Eberflus does, but that's a guy that I would love to put next to a Sanborn, not in the middle of the defense, because, you know, watching him, I don't really think he wants to smoke in regards to the trash. But if he's clean, he gets in lane, he delivers. I mean, he probably has more, you know, big hits than anybody on the team. It's just those kind of routine, regular plays. I just watched Jack Sanborn kind of just make those a lot better. I like Jack Sanborn. I would love for Jack Sanborn to be the middle linebacker and then let those other guys fight it out, you know, next to him. But $7.4 million. Kenneth Murray is at least going to start off as a starter. Maris Leofow sponsors are out the door, right? He was brilliant compared from what Mike Zimmer said. You are a brilliant player. He ain't here no more. He flashed. He had some flashes last year for sure. Enough flashes to keep Jack Sanborn a Flus guy, a dude they traded off the field. We finna see. But I do think Kenneth Murray starts off as the guy, the starter. I just wonder where he's going to be. I wonder where. Flus is the coach. He knows his guys much better than I do. Man, there's something about Jack Sanborn being in the middle of that defense. And then you got Joe Milton, maybe the trade of the offseason. I really like this trade. We talked about it when it went down because the Cowboys really didn't have or haven't had a young developmental quarterback for an extended period of time they could work with. Trey Lance, we all know the debacle that was of a trade, and it really was no plan for real. I think with this trade with Milton, there's a decent plan set in place, and you've got time. You've got time. You don't have a lot of assets committed to the situation. He's proven, or I shouldn't say proven, he's shown last year when thrown in the fire at the end of the year that, hey, man, I can actually improve. He improved from his time in Tennessee. He improved from his reps that he had in preseason. So whomever the quarterback's coach was over there, shouts out to them. And he went out there and we broke down the film, and you saw the noticeable difference in Joe Milton and his game. But where I'm going to be, again, watching is where does he start? Where does he start? Because we can poo-poo quality backup for you while he's here. So that's just something small to take a look at. I do think it's not going to take long for Milton to make the jump. But preseason finna be lit with Joe Milton out there. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be way better than in previous years. And I'll say this. I think having Milton and Greer, for that matter, we'll see those down roster wide receivers actually get a chance. You know, I think over the years, sometimes we struggled to really see these guys get going in preseason. And I know Cooper Rush, his record and things like that. But when Cooper Rush has to like tote the rock, right, or throw the rock, it's not working. And in preseason, we saw it in camp. It's like, man, we really can't get anything out of the wide receiver 4, 5, 6 because these guys aren't making anything happen. Trey Lance was struggling in camp, man. Struggling. He has obviously some throws and he has some moments, but I'm hoping between a veteran that has a livelier arm than Cooper Rush and Will Greer, and then a guy that has a super live arm and has shown improvement in Joe Milton, those two can give the Brooks, the Flournoys, the Holdens a chance, a consistent chance to show something more than maybe in previous years. So that's, again, something else to keep an eye on as we move forward in that quarterback room. So there you have it, Cowboys Nation. These are the things that I'm looking forward to. The other guys is what I'm calling them. George Pickens was, the trade per se of the offseason, but the Cowboys made 3 other trades. They were very active in the trade department. And then you had the wide receiver 3 battle. Looking forward to that starting today. That will 100% be carried out all the way through camp, obviously, in preseason, etc. And then the running back rotation. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot from this running back rotation until preseason, but you'll be able to see who's deployed and how they're deployed early, like where the depth chart, where these guys fall. If I had to guess, just me guessing right now early, I say JaVante Williams will be the guy that will roll out there first, and then everything else will go beyond that. Let's get back on the horns real quick. We got 603. What it is, what it do?
Skywalker. You moonwalking backwards, man. I finally found your show again. It feels like a reunion, man.
Hey.
Reunited, and it feels so good. We are reunited.
Hey, a lot of people are just finding me. I thought I did a good job on the other channel, letting people know where to go. But I understand not everybody catches every single show, so I'm just glad y'all finding me again, man.
Yeah. You were lost, and now you are found. Hey,
now
man,
we found.
Hey, look, man, we got to do a side-by-side comparison of Eberflus's defense versus Zimmer's defense. versus Quinn's defense and find out and see who really had the best defense. Because I'm a Zimmer man.
They all pretty. They all pretty good in their own right.
I think Zimmer did the best job with our defense. Man. I really, really do. I mean, I would like to see. I don't know the stats on that. Though. I don't know the stats versus his defenses versus Quinn's versus Eberflus. I don't think Eberflus doesn't blitz at all. Doesn't like to blitz.
Not a big blitzer. No.
It's like you better have 4 guys up there that know how to get to the pass rush, but not, at the same time stopping the run.
There you go.
If we can just stop the run, man, it's like stopping diarrhea, man. We need to stop the run.
Hold on. Let me get back to the comparison. That'd be a great. Just if you were bored, you want to look up all 3 of them. They all 3 are respectable in their own rights. But Zim was given a raw deal, I think, man. You know, he was brought. They gave him. They didn't give him the guys he really, really needed up front. They didn't give him enough juice in the pass rush department. And you brought up how, you know, because Flus doesn't blitz a whole lot, you need guys that can get after it. It's so funny you mentioned that because I was looking at, you know, the depth chart, and I was a little surprised with how much pure kind of speed rushers are on this roster or kind of juice rushers, because I don't think that's a Eberflus staple. I think he usually has guys, specifically that left defensive end type of guy to set the edge, et cetera. But what you just said now kind of makes sense.
Right.
Because they're going to play a lot of vision defense. They're not going to blitz a lot. These dudes need to get after it. They got way more juice now, barring injury. You get Sam Williams back. They got way more juice now with E-Rock, with obviously Micah, Sam Williams, Dante Fowler than they had last year, period. And you're sacrificing some size, a little bit of size, just a little bit, but you're getting more juice. And if you're going to drop 7, you need to rush 4.
You know that our defensive line is the smallest in the NFC East. I ran the numbers, man. We are averaging 6'3", 282 pounds. We got the smallest defensive line in the NFC East. So we do need to get bigger, man. I've been looking at. I hope Flus will go in there and politic and say, "Hey, look, man, let's make the trade for DeForest Buckner." He coached him in Indianapolis. I mean, we need some size in the middle of our defensive line. Let's stop the diarrhea. Let's stop the diarrhea, man. We need a Pepto-Bismol package that stops the run.
That's what we gonna call it. Hold on. So no end game, no NASCAR, the Pepto package. I like that.
Yeah,
let's get a Pepto package in there.
Exactly.
In order to get a Pepto package, I think you need a proven veteran nose tackle, right? We're hoping Mozzie Smith can improve and to be that guy. We're hoping Joe Toia, which I like Joe Toia a lot, y'all, but I'm just having fun. We're hoping Joe Toia can be, you know, Pat Washington, but we don't have that proven dude in that room.
Well, if Mozzie comes in there with his head straight, I think he'll be all right. But if he comes in there with his head tilted like he about to have an epileptic fit or something, man, then we're going to have problems, man.
Yeah, I look, Mozzie, I pray and hope that Mozzie can break out in year 3 and be that dude. I'm not banking on it, is what I'm getting at. Right, I'm not about to be like, I ain't making no move because I think Mozzie's about to snap. Nah, man. I would be right now shopping on the phones for a proven guy. Now, the guy you're talking about in the DeForest Buckner is not necessarily a nose tackle per se, but he has that length that and pause if necessary that Flus likes on the interior. He's looking for the longer defensive ends, and that kid from Maryland, he may not. I want to butcher his name. He may not be the heaviest guy.
What's his name? Mabuto? What's his name? Mabuto?
I might even gonna try to butcher it, bro. I might even gonna try to. I'll find. It's like y'all let me know how to pronounce it. They do a great job in the chat. Let me know how to pronounce these guys' names.
Bisto, Mabuto. I forgot.
The Maryland kid. Yeah, something like that. I ain't about to butcher it like you, but he has the length. He got the length. He's 6'4", about 307. That's the type of style guy that Flus likes. And even our best interior pass rusher, here it is right here, King Basote, Wakanda.
Okay, King Basote. Okay,
King Basote. Yeah,
King
about
Basota.
yeah, he
Okay,
go about
Basota.
6'4" or so, about 305 or so.
Yeah.
So he has that length. He's not DeForest Buckner length, but he has that length. And if, unfortunately for Osa, he doesn't have that size, but he's your best pass rusher on the interior, and I think he's going to be a fantastic rusher. But defending the runners. Go ahead.
I'm gonna bequeath him King Bacon Soda. That's what I'm gonna call him. King Bacon Soda.
King Bacon Soda, crazy. Yeah, we said it right? A King Basote.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Joe.
Basote. Yeah. All right. All right, man. All right, Scott.
Appreciate the call. Good stuff.
That's all I have for you today. All right, man.
All right, man. Yeah, see, I just wanted to avoid it all in general until somebody gave me the right one, but Dro, appreciate you. He dropped it perfectly. A King Basote. Go check out Tux. He got a fantastic breakdown on him on his channel. Again, 7th round pick though, right? Same thing with Joe Toia, who is a rookie 7th round pick at that. Look, I hope Mozzie snap, y'all. I'm not sitting on my hands because of hope. I'm on the horns. I dropped a video last week on DJ Reader. That may be a pipe dream. Sure, they're dealing with injuries there, but they did draft. They drafted high Talik Williams in round 1. They signed a guy in free agency. There is some injury concerns that maybe keep him on the roster, but there's also they saved some bread by moving on from him too. So look, ain't nothing wrong with picking up that phone, seeing what's up. There's other players out there as well. From a trade department standpoint, I don't know about so much in free agency that's going to move the needle, but I hope like hell Mozzie do his thing. I'm just not going to put my eggs in the hope basket with him. I'm just not doing it, man. Just not doing it. Yeah, I like J2 Trill. I think he actually has a potential to long term kind of be. What's my man? D'Amico. Is it D'Amico Pecco? See, man, I'm butchering all these damn names. Hold on. D'Amata Pecco? That ain't even the one. Is that the one? Nah, what's the one from there was another one that played with the Bengals forever. What's my man's name that played with the Bengals forever? Like he wasn't a big name. He's a big fella. He no Pro Bowls or nothing like that, but just constantly was that nose tackle, defensive tackle that you had to respect out there. It was Pecco. So what? It's a couple Peccos in the league. Butchering all these names, man. Look, let me get off the damn line. Hey, Twine, what's up, man?
Sky, what's good, baby?
What's up with you?
Shit, man. Can't complain, man. I'm just happy the Cowboys did something and went to go get George Pickens, man.
Oh yeah, that's big time right there.
Yeah, no, that was definitely big time. I'm really excited about
the Mando Pecco. Okay.
I'm really excited about this season. What do you think is a bigger hole for us right now? Is it RB1 or the D tackle?
Defensive tackle. With running back, I think if you improve the scheme, improve the run block, and you can get by with. And I want to be more than get by. You can get by with what you got because JaVante Williams at least showed you, he can be a guy you can depend on from a 3-down standpoint. Blue is explosive. I think Deuce Vaughn can run the rock. You can get by. I'm not beating my chest that you can lean on it when you need to, but how confident can you really literally be with a 7th round tackle right now who is a rookie? It's going to take a little bit of time, and a guy in Mozzie who he showed some flashes last year, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, he's next up. I just think tackle is a much more dire situation right now. If you had to compare the two,
I agree. I really agree with that as well. So I feel like our next move should either be what the last caller said. I want to say either DeForest Buckner or the other defensive tackle. I want to say DJ Reader or DJ Reed.
DJ Reader, yeah, DJ Reader. I mean, I'd love to get him, but
Yeah, so to me, that's what I'm worried about as far as like the Cowboys right now, either running back or or defensive tackle, because it seems like the Jones are trying to do something because they see ticket sales are down, and they want us back in the limelight and they see what's going on within the NFC East. So hopefully something happens. Hopefully something happens, and I'm hoping we're able to make it to the playoffs. That's all I got.
Hey man, appreciate you, Twan. Good to hear from you, man. It was D'Amato Pecco. That's the guy I'm talking about. 6'3", 325. Played with Cincinnati for hell. He in fact, we brought him in as an assistant coach or something under Mike Zimmer. He played under Mike Zimmer for a while in Cincinnati. So if he could turn out to be that guy, you know, if Jay Toia can turn out to be this Pecco, not the other Pecco. I mean, he was a starter at nose tackle. He didn't start his first year. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years starter between Cincy and Denver. No Pro Bowls, no All Pros, just a constant presence at nose tackle. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Now, Geno Atkins was a beast, but he was more 3-tech. He was a 3-tech player. Same thing, Grady Jackson. But it's Pecco. That's the one. There's just a couple Peccos in there. 832, what's up?
Hey, man, how are you? I was just trying to get my head around this. So, like, the Clayton Adams effect, I don't know if you kind of, like, seen into it a bit, but, like, JT with the Colts and then James Conner with the Cardinals, like, they're you know, they were beasts. Like that was their best years whenever he was there. But this was more so like a workhorse back, one type of guy like that. They did it all. Do you think like Clayton can kind of shift that? Because I know he said he's like the offensive line is like versatile and they can. He's going to move people around to their strengths. But how do you think that's going to like come into fruition?
Let me selfishly plug.
Since we have like a running back by committee.
Let me selfishly plug my work here because my take would be you're a bit new to the channel, so welcome to the channel, sir. Go check out the latest video I just did with Clayton Adams. It's called Ruthless Aggression. It features the background with Clayton Adams and what I think he can do because of his resume, which speaks for itself, that you talked about, right, with Connor in Arizona. Well, not just Taylor with the Colts, but I think it was Marlon Mack before that, and also his time in Colorado, et cetera. So, yeah, I've featured him live before. I've done the video on him. It goes in more depth, but I am very confident that Clayton Adams can have a positive effect. In fact, I'm stamping it. I think that this run game will be better by default because of Clayton Adams. My next question about the run game isn't can it be better? Because I think it will. It'll be, can you depend on it? Can you lean on it when you need to? There's going to be games where the passing game is off. There's going to be games where a secondary might take away, Pickens or Lamb. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not out the question, right? There's going to be games where teams are going to dare you. Well, we're going to keep two safeties back there. Run. Let's see how good you are. Can you lean on it consistently? That's something that is a wait and see approach for me. But in regards to Clayton Adams, man, I think he's one of the most underrated coaching hires of the entire NFL because his resume speaks for itself, man.
Yeah, and do you think like he can handle like by the committee? I think we've always seen him like handle the workhorse role and like adjusting the O-line of that, but like by committee wise, because we don't really have a guy that can kind of do it.
Well, Connor wasn't
maybe JaVante Williams at a slower place, but
yeah, Connor wasn't if you remember Connor in Pittsburgh, he was working with a couple different backs. If you go look at Connor in Arizona prior to Clayton Adams, he wasn't a guy that was just getting you 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, and just beasting. Right? He turned Connor into a quote unquote workhorse, if you will. Again, go back and look in with the Colts. I get it. Jonathan Taylor, look, we can't say that's the workhorse. I wouldn't consider Connor a workhorse. They might have used him that way, but how Connor came up, he was kind of more of a 2 and eventually became a 1. But Marlon Mack and I think was it Nyheim Hines or something? I mean, it wasn't like, they had this amazing backfield prior to Jonathan Taylor getting there. And even when Jonathan Taylor was there, people forget this. Nyheim Hines was a very important change of pace pass catching back. So while he may not have been the runner, if you go look at how he performed as a pass catcher, he got a lot of receptions with Jonathan Taylor there. So, there may be a guy, if this is the room, let's just pretend this is going to be the room. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the greatest of rooms. I get it. But if this is going to be your room, I can see a world where, JaVante Williams is the lead guy and Jaden Blue is more of your Naheem Hines, where he's going to get 40 receptions as a rookie, but he may not have 150 carries. It may be a little lighter on the light side from a carry standpoint, but heavy in the pass game, right? And then you mix in a Deuce Vaughn or whoever else, I don't know, whoever fills the rest of the room out. But yeah, I think Clayton Adams definitely can work with multiple backs. I've seen him do it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, great question. I just saw over here the Guru said, so Clayton won't call the plays. No, he will not. He said, so he won't call the plays, but more of O-line run game coordinator. Yes, 100%. He will be working with, obviously, Shotty putting together the run game, but also Connor Riley working with the offensive line. I love how transparent he was. You guys got to go. Somebody had wrote in the comments, have we even heard from Clayton Adams? You're missing out. We've heard from him, I believe, 3 or 4 different times. He is so transparent about what he wants. And so is Shotty. They're telling you. And I know talk is cheap. But they're telling you what they want to do and how they want to do it. And Clayton Adams talked about how this is different for him because he's never been an OC in a league that it's not calling plays. He's never been an OC, period. But the beautiful thing is, he talked about how Schottenheimer has experience doing this and how he doesn't want to run into the same problems he had under Mike McCarthy. Now, he didn't say this verbatim, but I'm reading between the lines and just remembering what Jerry Jones talked about. Hey, Schottenheimer's biting his tongue. I don't even think Shotty wanted us to know that, but I always felt there was this inner fight between Shotty and McCarthy, and maybe not a real fight, but Shotty in of himself wanted to do things that McCarthy just wasn't going to do. And that's when Jerry was like, yeah, I've watched him bite his tongue because there's nothing he can do. So I don't think Shotty wants to run into that with Clayton Adams. I think he wants to have he wants to be aligned, right? He's been in this building when that wasn't the case. When the owner, general manager, president, vice president kept their guy and hired an offensive guy, and those two guys clashed in Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy. You want to go back even further? We can go back even further with more clashing of Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think Shotty wants that. So I think these guys are going to work well together, or at least attempt to, and things will come up. There'll probably be some issues they got to work through, and that's normal stuff. But Clayton Adams, man, big time get. Big time get. Rod Trap said McCarthy wanted to go out on the shield, and that's exactly what he did. That was probably a solid 95% of his offense. Yes. Yes. Now, again, there were some of those new modern things I credit personally to Brian Schottenheimer. But see, that's ego. That's ego trip. And that's where that's what I love about Shotty. I don't think he can't have an ego. I mean, he might have one just in general because he's been around the league, but what can he stand on to say, yeah, I'm doing it my way because I won a Super Bowl? No, you didn't. But Mike's ego got in the way. Now, you could argue he'd been waiting and just hoping to get this opportunity to call plays. So he says, we doing everything my way. Shotty said, man, look, I ain't stupid. I need to surround myself around smart people. So he's bringing in a rising star in the coaching ranks. He's bringing in one of the best offensive line coaches in college. People think Shotty's this run game guru because of, if you go look at what he had to do under defensive minded coaches, but Shotty is a pass guy by nature. He's a quarterback, work with quarterback as a quarterback's coach. worked as an offensive coordinator, worked as a wide receivers coach, worked with tight ends. By his nature, the pass game is something that he just knows through and through, wants to make sure that he can attack, take shots, things like that. Yes, he ran the ball and ran it well as an offensive coordinator, but Shotty, to have a respectable modern run game, he knows he needs to bring in a guy that can handle that. He knows if this team is going to go far offensively, they have to be balanced. And balance doesn't mean I'm going to do it my way. McCarthy talked that talk. His actions showed me he didn't give a damn about being no balance. Kept Mike Solari around. Didn't bring in a real running back. Didn't draft one in the draft. Didn't sign one. No Zeke, don't count. When he hired Clayton Adams, I said, oh, he's serious about this. He comes out talking about mirroring the run game with the pass. Oh, he's serious about this. Yeah. So I appreciate that, for Shotty. Now, hopefully it works, but I'm just saying the process. I love the process. He's not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. It takes a village, Facts, Toxic. Toxic said that's what makes successful people successful. Knowing what you know and what you don't, and surrounding yourself with people that do. 100%. 100%. Like, I can't go look at Schottenheimer's resume and be like, yeah, man, because what he did in 2006. This ain't 2006. If you want to go and look at what he did in Seattle, then you got to really pull those layers back. You got to pull the layers back, man. Yeah. They ran the ball. Because Pete Carroll wanted him to run the ball. But Pete Carroll only wanted him to run the ball. And they got into it a little bit. And it, eventually they had to part ways because if I had to guess, Shotty saw how things were progressing in the league. It wasn't just these being basic in running the ball. It was more about how you're running it, marrying it with your pass game and taking those shots. And they fizzled out, right? So we'll see what happens though. Let's get to some of these super chats before we get up out of here. Appreciate y'all, by the way. I know we got a couple new members too. Shouts out to you for joining the BSI Bomb Squad Insiders. You guys will have access to some of these videos that come out prior. We'll do some behind the scenes stuff, some members only chats, things like that. And then when I travel and stuff like that, we'll do some kind of cool vlogs. I'm really going to try to take this membership thing to the next level. So appreciate y'all. Plus, you get the do-rag sky emoji, man. We're going to get some more emojis popping too. We're going to get some more popping. Let's get to these supers though. I missed a few earlier.
Super chat.
Shouts out to my guy, Matt. He dropped 5 earlier, said Lamb and Pickens seem like they're genuinely excited to play together. Yeah. The chemistry they already have off the field should easily translate on it. That's a great observation. Not saying that, Amari Cooper and Lamb weren't excited to play with each other or anything like that. But yeah, man, this isn't a situation where, and I think Lamb brought it up and GP brought it up. Oh man, he's the one. And if I'm not getting it, nobody's. Nah, it's not like that. They're rooting for each other, obviously, but they're also understanding that, look, you can't double both of us. So somebody's going to eat one game. Maybe somebody will not another game. As long as it's helping the offense, that's all that matters. So, that's a good thing. Shouts out to Landlord.
Super chat.
Landlord from Alabama. Drop 5 and said, what up, Sky? We got some ammo now, baby. We had prime time. Now we got slime time. Ooh. Hey, Landlord been trying to get this damn wide receiver in here for 3 years or whatever it's been, man. Appreciate you, Landlord. D. Artish. Appreciate you. Drop 10.
Super chat.
He said, everyone has 1.5 or 2 good years with Carolina before they get injured or traded to another team and then regain that talent again. Keep an eye on Tech, for instance, not wishing none. Huh. Okay. Interesting observation. B Bird.
Super chat.
The original OG dropped 2 and said, the hurt wide receiver scenario was the normal 2024 season. Facts. Yeah, hell, you can even include a healthy Cooks because couldn't figure out how to use him right. Now that I think about it, man, when did we get Cooks? 23. What a wasted opportunity. I don't mean to go back, but Brandon Cooks makes no sense from a traditional West Coast style of offense. And I got fooled. I'm not gonna lie. I got fooled. I thought we were gonna be, I'll change this thing up. This Texas coast, whatever they was calling it, was really the West Coast. And I think Shoddy had some influence on the creativeness you saw. Cooks makes no sense in this offense. Unless he was gonna be slot guy. He made no sense. They try to sending him on stop routes and slant. Yeah, it just, what a wasted opportunity, that's all I'm saying. Dylan dropped 2.
Super chat.
He said, for the love, keep grinding, Sky. New video format's fire. Thank you, brother. I am definitely going to continue that route for those type of videos. There will be other types as well, but those are definitely my favorite ones to use for sure. Or those my favorite ones to do for sure. Am I off on that? Like, I'm just thinking out loud. Y'all know how I do. I'm talking, man. I can tell me I'm wrong. Slime time's hard. Special K. Time out. You be sending the do-rags guy. Special K said I screenshotted the do-rags guy, so now when my girl does something out of pocket, I just send it to the do-rags guy. I mean, wow. That's hard. Like when Cooks got here, I'm like, oh man, Cooks about to hit him with some, deep shots, some screens, some over routes. Man, we used Cook maybe 10 times in 2 years on those scenarios. They got him out here acting like he's 6'2" and 212. It made no sense they were gonna use him like that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it. Honestly, Pickens made way more sense in that offense, but we're gonna see how he fits here. Vaughn said either Pickens is gonna hold up. Either Pickens is going to cash out or crash out. Both. I don't mind a little crash out from Pickens, as long as it's a crash out that gets the team going. You know what I mean? We don't want the crash out where you get 15-yard penalties, costing the team a game. Like, no. I like that. Cash out or crash out. Love it. And Reginald said, interestingly, Cook was a 1,000-yard receiver on every team except the Cowboys. He was. I mean, he was almost a 1,000-yard receiver his first year. I mean, look, I'm not saying that Cooks wasn't successful. 800-something yards and 8 tutties in his first year is pretty solid. Like, that's a damn good year. You know what I mean? Easily could have been a 1,000-yard receiver. But I think he had his most touchdowns, in Dallas that he had in a long time? Brandon Cooks. Yeah. Brandon Cooks had his most touchdowns in Dallas that he had in 8 years. So, look, he was successful when he got here in year 1. My problem was it took long. Like, it took a while to get going. He actually became one of your most clutch receivers. But yeah, 800 and what was it? Oh, actually, it wasn't 800. It was 657. So 657 and 8 touchdowns. Yeah, 800 total for real. So, man, he had some success, but what a weird way to use him, man. What a weird way. D-Lay dropped 2. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
He said, are they going to give him number 14? I don't know. That is Marquise Bell's number right now.
Super chat.
Joe dropped 2 and said Cook signing was like trying to eat cereal with a fork. That's one way to put it. And I ain't gonna hold you, man. I was definitely excited for and happy about it because we broke it down. We said, hey, these are the ways to use Cooks. We dropped the film. It started off, they weren't using Cooks that way. Then They get into the bye week. Shotty comes out the bye week talking about some of the things, looking around the league. They start using Cooks a certain way. Oh, what do you know? Cook starts shining a little bit. Became one of your most clutch receivers. The next year, we go back to doing the things that we weren't good at and running this damn McCarthy offense. So, Oh, Nacho dropped up in here, y'all. Let me get Nacho real quick. Nacho with day one. What's good with you, Nacho?
My man, Sky, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
That's wonderful. I'm doing good. Hey, listen. So a couple things. I'm really excited about the fact that, and really I share the same sentiments that you do in terms of this coaching staff with Schottenheimer. There seems to be this structure in place that's taking place. There's an identity. We know what we want to do, who we want to be, something that we've struggled in the past with past coaching staff, schemes, having players, that we draft that either fit the scheme or the scheme fitting the players. I truly just feel, just from what we hear, from what you're listening to, from what you're sharing and information you're gathering as well, there's something that is fresh, that is new coach, new vibe. And when you're at a leadership role, if you will, when you bring in people under you that are as good, if not better than you, you make yourself a bigger, stronger empire. If I'm becoming clean with that. And what I see Schottenheimer coming in there, has the legacy of just being in football, family, and so on. And this is his time to finally go out there. He's been there. He's done that. He's been amongst many coaches, a lot of leadership coaches, been a right-hand man to many coaches. I don't know, Sky. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sounding very long-winded here, but I guess what I'm trying to say is as a fan, I know it wasn't a popular choice. People think that this guy's not this and that. But at the same time, hey, listen, I'm excited. It's whenever I would see our head coach, Sky, whether that would be Jason Garrett, McCarthy, for example. I don't know. When I saw him on the sidelines on Sundays, I didn't quite feel 110% confident that we were going to win certain games. I want someone with a body language, with energy, with something that was some gusto out there that just shows a little something. And I don't know, I just see this guy just bring a presence to the room and to the locker room, and I'm excited about that. What do you think?
No, I'm right there with you, man. And again, I think Stephen Jones even brought that up, how he said you can tell that, but the coaching staff that he brought in, it matches Shotty's energy. And he said that's rubbing off on the team. And, I'm not saying that Mike didn't bring energy or anything like that, but actually I kind of am. It is what it is. Mike was a different cat, man. He didn't have that kind of youthful energy that Shotty brings. And Shotty's not young. I saw somebody say, hey, he's one of these young coaches. He's like 52 or something like that, 52, 53. He just brings a youthful energy, a hungry energy, right? Like I finally got my opportunity and he's about to show it. But he brought that immediately. If you go back and look when he first became an assistant coach with the Cowboys, an OC, and go watch his the practices and him on the field, he stands out. He stood out as a guy. You go look at some of the sideline things, the behind the scenes videos. Schottenheimer sounds at the sideline. He's down there with the energy, getting guys going. So I'd imagine he was going to lead that way, but he also was going to get some lieutenants that brought that same type of energy. So there's none of that. Oh, we're on the sideline soaking, and there's nobody trying to get these guys going. I think it's rubbing off right now, but again, we just have to see it translate to the field.
No, absolutely. And lastly, I talked to my boys over here, the Cowboys fan base over here in the Bay Area, if you will, and a lot of them kind of were very negative towards this George Pickens, and I'm kind of going like, guys, you got to stop with that. First, you complained about us not being aggressive, not going after certain players, not going after game changers, and here we make a very bold move when we did not address the wide receiver 2 position in the draft, and we go get a Pickens who is probably as good, if not better than any, or at least he's a proven player than a lot of the rookies coming out of the draft. And now we got a 1-2 punch. I mean, along with who we drafted in the draft class. As a fan base, I get it. We all have an opinion, right or wrong. But the point is we got to applaud the Jones family, Schottenheimer, his mentality, whoever's coming into the room, and we are doing things that are finally giving you some sense of confidence and hope that, hey, we're going to move in the right direction, right?
I mean, yeah, man, it's hard. I don't understand how your friends are down on the Pickens deal. That's just, in my opinion, silly. You know, I think it's a low risk, high reward type of move. I don't think there's a lot of risk at all in this thing because I know people can say, "Oh, what about the 3rd round picks, guy?" A 3rd round pick ain't ish compared to what you could potentially get long term with Pickens and Lamb. It's totally worth the risk. So I'm shocked your friends were a little down on that trade. That's a great trade. But hey, Nacho, I appreciate the call, good brother.
All right, my man.
Thank you, bro.
You have a blessed day.
You too, man.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
I saw you guys were trying to figure out in 727. Hold tight. I got you in a second. Something I did notice for those who were trying to become a member on your phone, you can't do it. Apparently, you cannot go into the app and join that way. So you have to go on to the website. And if you go onto the website, it should be right underneath the top here, right over to the right, and just click join. All right. And there you go. And you can become a member. I think it was a super chat somebody dropped here. Appreciate you. D-Lay said, I can't find a link to become a part of the bomb squad. There you go. You have to go online. So even if you got to go into your Safari and do it, that's the way to do it, man. Appreciate you. Let me get to 727, and then we're going to close out the show. What's up with you?
Hey, what's up, Scott? This is old Mr. Amos here. How you been lately?
Hey, famous Amos. What's up with you?
Nothing much there, young man. You know, I'm excited for this season, because I'm glad we got some new leadership on defense. Because it seemed like, when D-Law was there, he was there when a lot of those defense collapses came. He couldn't sit there and rally anybody. And that piss poor excuse that he had at the end of that Packers game.
Yeah, I ain't like that.
We were just tired. I mean, I could have unscrewed the back of my television, went in there and kicked him in his ass. I really could for even saying something like that, But and he just had Micah, just. I mean, but Micah's a good guy. I mean, he did his time, and he moved his way up, because that's one thing about Micah's character. He didn't overstep the old dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited about, Eberflus. Eberflus being the Cowboy, come through the system. Also, I think we gonna underestimate what Leopold is gonna bring to that defense, because I imagine he's gonna see the same thing that Zimmer saw. And I like this coaching staff because they're young and they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we had a hungry
coaching
staff.
Yeah.
We had an entitled coaching staff, your Garris and McCartney. But these guys, they're young. They want some. Everybody on that team got a chip on their shoulder. And also, the owners have a chip on their shoulders. They really got a bitter taste in their mouth. So This is a whole new outlook from what I see. And you Cowboy fans and you Eagle head, bird heads out there, we ain't never scared of y'all. Dak ain't never been scared of y'all. Y'all always said y'all had a good team. You always had a super team. And we always either split with y'all or either beat you or should have beat you twice. And I'd expect the same results again. The offensive line is much better. We have a resemblance of a running game. And I at least think we're going to go 12-5 because everybody's going to have their ups and downs. Everybody's going to be overhyped. And a lot of people are not going to play up the expectations. Detroit Lions is one, and the Eagles have their losses too. But glad to talk to you again, brother. God bless you, and take care.
Appreciate you,
Go
Mr.
Cowboys.
Amos. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I say this. And, you know, the George Pickens trade definitely helps. I talked about this a few weeks ago. I used to always say this. Barring injury, this team can win double-digit games. Now, you asked me about the playoffs, it's a whole different story, right? How are we playing going into it? What is our identity, et cetera, et cetera? The Pickens trade definitely helps because y'all remember what I said before the Pickens trade. I said, barring injury, I think they can compete. I think they'll be, they'll fight. They'll be tough. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff contender. Pickens, I definitely think that he helps make them a playoff contender. We want to be more than that, though, right? Like, obviously, you still got some things you got to figure out here. Run game, run defense, right? Defense in general. But when 4 is healthy, Lamb is out there. Now you get Pickens. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be floating around double-digit wins in general. That's just that's what it's been throughout his career. Now, when he's not healthy, totally different story. Different coaches. I think now it's his third regime, 2 different regimes, different receivers, different things, all of that. Healthy, usually floating around double-digit wins or more. Playoffs, a different story. I don't think the amount of wins matters when it comes to the playoffs. It's going to be about how. Do we have an identity? Are we leaning into that? Are we playing to that going into the playoffs? We had this back and forth on the collective. Me and Foots, by the way, shouts out to the collective. You guys have been amazing. We'll be on tomorrow after OTAs, the media. We had this conversation where Foots was like, yeah, man, too many times we've been going into the playoffs and we've been rolling and they just been kind of feeling themselves. And in my head, I'm like, name one. Name me a time they just been rolling into the playoffs, because I don't consider beating the third team of the Eagles rolling. I don't consider beating the Washington football people rolling. They were trashed that year. I don't consider that. The times the Cowboys had a chance to legitimately roll into the playoffs and beat playoff caliber teams, they didn't. I remember 21, they were struggling to beat the Giants and the Washington football people and the Saints, and they couldn't beat Arizona. Everybody felt everything is gravy because they beat Philly, who was benching everybody. They ain't rolling to me. I'd have to go back a long time to find out. Maybe 2014. It's probably their last year where they were just rolling by beating good teams into the playoffs. Maybe 16. Maybe 16 you could argue too. But you want to roll into the playoffs for me? That's beating those that stretch in December where you get 6 straight teams that won 11 or more games last year. That's rolling. You come out of that 4-2, you rolling. You come out of that playing your ass off, you rolling. Come out of that thing 2-4, 1-5, and you beat Washington and New York, and you happen to get into the playoffs. So for me, it's a little bit more than the record. It's always been that way for me. A little bit more than just the record. All right, I said I was going to get up out of here, but y'all keep coming in here, so I appreciate y'all. Y'all want me to keep this thing going? I can keep it going. If you want me to keep this thing going, drop the fire emojis and we can keep rapping. I can do this all day. Y'all know how I am. I talk too much, apparently, according to some people. Had somebody come in here was, bro, this is a talk show. You don't want me to be quiet? Let's get 479 on the horn. What's up with your 479?
Yeah, I was also, Pickens and that was a great pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Jalen Tolbert and Flournoy and Jonathan Mando still haven't, got their reps in.
Yeah, the wide receiver 3 battle is going to be something, man, for sure.
Jonathan Mingo came from a different offense to the offensive last year that we don't even run now. You know, he came mid-season, so he wasn't really big. Flournoy is an inch taller than CD Lamb and runs a faster 40 than CD Lamb, and has a 3 or 4 inch vertical height better than CD Lamb.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait till Flournoy gets out there. You know, he goes from number 80 to number 19 now. Really want to get him in, you know, because, you know, CD can line up anywhere. You know, he's from Oklahoma. That boy's been lined up from 1, 2, and in the slot. So, you know, bringing in Flournoy, I think giving him a shot at 1 or 2 would give him a huge thing.
He going to have to earn that, brother. I mean, you forgot about George Pickens. You know, George Pickens.
I get Pickens sometimes,
Yeah.
but you know, you know, Dallas has always been about the receivers that they draft. You know, big time. You know. From, you know, Michael Gallup.
What do you mean by that?
To Terrence Williams.
What do you mean by that? What are you trying to tell me here, sir? Say it with your chest.
I'm saying that we get Flournoy in there and he gets to get his reps in and stuff. I think he's going to be a bigger impact than people give him. You know, out of a 7th round draft pick, you know, from Southwest Missouri. I think the young man's got some. And he's got some good hands too. If you ever watch his tape, he's got some great hands. I
like Flournoy. Athletic freak, right? Like you said, 6'2", can run the 4.4, all that good stuff, right? And again, we talked about how he's fighting with Brooks and Holden and those guys. And hey, look, if he shows out, yeah, then he's pushing the Mingos and the Toberts of the world. But right now, he's 100% on the outside looking in. And look, that's good for him. He's not giving anything. He's going to have to fight for it. But I do think he is fighting an uphill battle, though, sir. I think, you know, Pickens is Pickens, my boy. I don't care who they draft. I don't care who they drafted in round 6 and 7. George Pickens is George Pickens, right? And then Tolbert has proven himself, and they invested a 4th round pick in Mingo. So if anything, if Flournoy is trying to fight the Mingos of the world as opposed to the George Pickens, is all I'm saying.
And hopefully Blue gets over his you know, his injury and stuff, and is, you know, at full speed when he comes into the first week, because that boy can hit some holes and get. If he hits the secondary, he's gone. You're not touching.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you give him a lane, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. Yep.
And I can't wait for this young defense too, because, you know, Micah being a leader, Osa being a leader, you know, Trevon Diggs being a leader, Rondo Bland, Wilson, all them guys are all, you know, they all have chips on their shoulders. They're ready to roll.
Yeah, Flu's going to get these boys right. I just hope that they give him a few more pieces, man. Just a few more pieces.
What is your outlook on, I can't think of the linebacker's name, number 13.
Oh, Demo, DeMarvion Overshown?
Yeah.
Man,
what do you think about him?
I love his game, man. My only worry with DeMarvion Overshown is long term, man. Can he hold up? He's like a linear type of player. He's tall and skinny, right? I don't know that his body can put on like legitimate mass. He's going to put on more weight. He's going to put on muscle and things like that. And it was a freak incident last year. Let's also remember that this wasn't something where, you know, he just was running and he non-contact type of injury. He got rolled up on. However, back-to-back MCL, ACL tears, it's fair to be worried about him long-term. But I love his game. If you could tell me he will not be an injury guy for the rest of his career, he's going to be a beast, man. It's just, man, can he avoid the injury bug? Please help me, please, football guys. Give me a couple years of free injuries from DeMarvion Overshown, and you got something.
You know, it's almost like Sean Lee, you know what I mean? He went from practicing and snapped his kneecap, and that was it for him. And he was a great linebacker.
Sean Lee was, Sean Lee was a Hall of Fame style linebacker. He just, injuries, man. Injuries. But good call, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Man, somebody posted Sean Lee highlights like a couple months ago, and I'm just sitting here like, we really had one of them ones, y'all. Like Luke Kuechly, Like, he could have been Luke Kuechly for real. That's not a stretch, by the way. People, I'm talking about Luke Kuechly, defense player of the year. Yeah, Sean Lee was like that. He just couldn't stay healthy, man. He also didn't have Luke. Didn't Luke have some? And look, Luke's a beast. I'm not diminishing Luke. Didn't Luke have a couple DTs in front of him? I want to say he did, especially that Super Bowl year. Sean Lee was up there working with Nick Hayden. They was sliding Jeremy Mincy in there, bro. Henry Melton, Terrell McClain, Tyrone Crawford love you to death, but snap, end tackle. Sean Lee said, I don't even care. Put whoever you want up there. Tackle for loss in 5. Sean Lee was a tackling machine. I love Sean Lee, man. I wish we could bring Sean Lee back. He was special. I always put Sean Lee on Luke and Wagner tier, man. Look, if he was healthy, we would be having these conversations for sure. Let's get Los on the horn. What's good with you, Los?
Buenos dias, Skywalker Steel. How's
Buenos dias. It's going great, man.
Hey, good, man. Hey, OTAs are around the corner. As that saying goes, iron sharpens iron. I can't wait, man. And I think two position groups that we got to pay attention to is that offensive line versus that defensive line, and those wide receivers versus the cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And real quickly on those two, I mean, we see that with our new offensive line, we got to get that situated, especially with the new Tylers, and basically get that situated from the beginning of the year, because we know as our O-line goes, that's how we go. If we're not providing protections to Dak, it's going to be a long year, and especially we can't run the ball, it's definitely going to be a damn long year.
All true, Los. All true. Only thing is, we're not going to be able to see that matchup anytime soon. Like, we're not going to be able to get anything from offensive line versus defensive line in OTAs. We got to wait till the pads come on in camp. But wide receivers and corners, yeah, you can see something right now.
Exactly. And then and I'm touching on that, just on that topic, wide receivers and corners. We know the wide receivers we done added to this group. I mean, before Pickens, we can say it was an average group at best, but now you got competition for that 3, for especially people to try to make that 5 or 6 spot, like you said. There's going to have competition. And for those corners, I mean, we know Bland is our only healthy corner. So there's going to be corners out there that have an opportunity to get that job while Diggs is out, or while whoever is out, while we get healthy. It's going to be up to them. Are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to be able to cover the CD or Pickens of the world? And who knows? In seeing that, we can finally see a hidden gem. We always find these hidden gems every year. Maybe Cowboys can find one in the cornerback position. And that's all I got, Sky.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Los.
Of course, man. You have a great morning.
You too, brother. Yeah, man. Pickens changes the whole dynamic of that room. It changes everything, man. Everything. Oh, we got some heavy hitters on here. All right, let's get Charlie Murphy. Hey, what's good? And this ain't the real Charlie Murphy, y'all. It's an inside joke for the new people here. What's good with you, Charlie?
What's up, bro? It has been a very, very long time.
Yes.
I apologize. Life has slapped me in the face, brother.
Yeah, life be life, and trust me, I know. All good.
It does. But it's great to hear from you. I just wanted to check in. So I am a giant Jaden Blue believer, and I'm not trying to get to the super fandom optimistic side of him, but I just think he gives us something that we haven't had in a really long time, maybe in the youth of Pollard before, like when Zeke was still taking away from Pollard like that. And I know he's a day 3 pick, and day 3 running backs don't always translate, but I'm just curious, you might have already touched on it, what is your true thoughts on, like, do you see maybe Jaden Blue can be a guy for us? Not an all-star, I'm not talking Pro Bowler, but just a really good, solid guy. Or are you still looking to add to that running back room right now? I'm just curious of your thoughts, brother. And it's great to hear from you. I'm headed to a job interview, so please wish me luck.
Yeah, man,
and,
good luck.
I'm going to hang up and listen.
All right, man. Good call. Nice to hear from you, man. I hope you get that thing. Look, go in there. Be confident, bro. Be confident. You got this.
I will.
Yes, sir.
I will. Thank you, brother.
Both. How about both? Right. I think Blue definitely can be a guy that gives you something for this offense during, at least the period of his contract, his rookie contract. But also, yeah, I'm on record saying this. I'm not opposed to looking outside of this room to improve the room. I do not see a problem with that at all. I was going back and forth with shouts out to I forget who it was on Twitter, but I was like, look, man, yeah, we can wait and see. Absolutely. Let's get to camp or whatever. If they want to wait and see what these guys can do, sure. Maybe somebody separates themselves. But I don't think the room is so good that you're not keeping your eyes open elsewhere, right? Maybe picking up the phone or maybe not a trade, but whatever, right? Waiting for cuts. My eyes are open is what I'm saying. If I can improve the room, I'll make the attempt to improve the room. But speaking of Blue, I absolutely think Blue can form a role to be, whether it's a change of pace back, whether it's receiving back, I don't care what you want to call it. I think he can make a career out of this specific type of role, like say a James White did. Right, Naheem Hines is having a decent career like that, but his is kind of ending now. But James White, think of James White, right? Wasn't a guy who was giving the ball to 200 times a carry, but he was a fantastic back out the backfield to catch. He always fit in that committee. There was times I had to lean on him a little bit more, but I think Blue can be that. But the other side of that is, yeah, I'm still very interested in upgrading the room if I can. If I can't, then they got to make it work, man. They just got to make it work. But I think Blue can be a dynamite as a weapon for this team, especially if used correctly. Let's head over to Charlotte. Marco from Charlotte. My folks is down there. What's good, Marco?
What's up, Scott?
Last time Marco called in, I crashed out on y'all, man.
Yeah, you crashed out on me, but it's good. Though. I'm gonna let we can agree to disagree.
Hey,
Scott.
Always, bro.
Yes, sir. I really love picking up Pickens, man. I was watching him play against the Ravens and all these teams in their division, those tough cornerbacks, and he was destroying them. I think it's a huge pickup.
Yeah, Pickens, massive, bro. I think so you know how for years I've been saying, man, this guy's not a needle mover. We need a needle mover. This is it. This is what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying we always got to do this every single year, but boy, when it happens, look at the energy a little bit. Not saying that we're all screaming Super Bowl or anything like that, but we all agree, hey, man, this gets us a little bit closer where we want to be. Let's take that momentum, bottle it up, and keep it going. Let's keep improving this team. But absolutely massive deal getting Pickens.
Yeah, I got to give Jay some props because we always talk bad about Jay.
Yep, I got to give it to him. Look, I said it too. I said I hate the boys, but listen, hey, shouts out to you for this move.
Hey, congratulations on bringing your own channel, man. Congratulations. Ownership is everything.
Thank you, man. It's been a journey. I would tell you that, as you know, you've been there since the A to Z days. I don't know if you were there prior, but it's been a journey. But we getting this thing back on track.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Scott. Be blessed, brother.
Salute. Shouts out to Marco, man, because look, me and Marco go at it. For the new people that are here, me and Marco I've crashed out on Marco a few times, but sometimes I play the bit. Sometimes I just legitimately crash out on Marco, but it's all in love, man. I appreciate how he rolls with the punches. I don't dislike any of y'all at all. Sometimes look, man, I feel bad a little bit for the new people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. If Durag Sky come out, please don't get turned off. That's all I'm saying. I don't do this often. Just from time to time, somebody to say something. Maybe that day, I don't know, I ain't feeling it. And we get into a nice passionate debate. That's what we'll call it. The beige rage. Hey, King Element. So I'm in the midst of making a beige rage emoji for you guys. I don't want to scare away the new followers, but I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. When I say it's going to happen, I don't want to call it a crash out, but the do-rag going to come out. So if it rubs you the wrong way, man, I'm sorry. If it don't scare you away, keep on rocking. That's all I'm saying. Keep on rocking. Ryan said, bring the heat. That's all I know, right? That's all I know how to do, be passionate in delivering this thing. I tell people all the time, they ask me, for advice. and like content creating, I'm like, man, there's so many things, and there's other people you can ask too that are much better than what I do. But I'll say this: lead with your passion. If you lead with your passion, it will show in your work. Sometimes I lead with that passion when we debating and that do-rag come out. So hopefully I don't scare y'all away, man. That's all. The shiesty in my channel, in my inner GP. Sometimes, man. It happens, bro. But it never happens with Sonny, because Sonny come in here and say Micah Parsons getting 30 sacks. And I'm like, yeah.
No, I'm not.
Let's go.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Hey, I don't know what
Sonny?
the hell. But hey, I want to tell you, I did guess last year that the 49ers, I told Bosch before he started going big time. I never got back to him. After I made that prediction, he went big time. I never really got a chance to talk to him again, but I told him before the season started.
Hey, Vaughn, hey, don't do that
the
to me.
49ers were not going to.
Don't do that
We're
to my
not going
boy.
to make the playoffs. And he asked me, he said, what the hell you been smoking? Did they not make the playoffs?
They didn't make the playoffs, Sonny.
They fell off, didn't they? And I told him the reason why is because McCaffrey got hurt. Now, my prediction this year, I'm going to give you this. Everybody's going to laugh about it. I'm going to tell you the one team that's not going to make the playoffs this year.
Who that?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to make it.
Sonny.
If they do, they might come in on the tail end of the wild card, but they're not going to win that division this year.
Sonny, that's a take.
Denver's
Sonny.
gotten tough. I think everybody's kind of figured out how to beat them now. I think the Philadelphia Eagles kind of,
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
and plus they're getting older. They're losing some players. But hey, my question was, I don't want to, I'm
Go
just
ahead,
saying
go
that's my prediction.
Gotcha. What's your
Somebody's not
Cowboys
gonna
question?
there's going to be teams who made the playoffs last year are not going to make the playoffs this year.
You don't say.
It
Yeah.
happens every year. Am I right?
Happens every year.
I
Yeah.
mean, who do you got not making the playoffs? Who's your big shocker?
I didn't even think of all that. Sonny, I've been so focused on trying to make sure these Cowboys acting right. I haven't even thought about it,
but
man.
was you shocked? Was you really shocked the way we played last year?
I
wasn't.
No, I wouldn't.
So when I sat back and looked with Jerry Jones, I wasn't really surprised one bit at all.
Yeah, they didn't do anything in the offseason, man. Like we went into the season
and now
saying
this year,
Yep,
now
go ahead,
we don't know what the unknown. We just don't know what Pickens is going to be from the Steelers. We really don't know.
We don't.
Everybody's bragging him up, but we really don't know until we hit that game. Until we get on the field and start playing.
I mean, yes, you're not
You know
wrong.
what I mean?
You're not wrong in that we have to obviously wait and see, but I'm pretty confident in what Pickens can be and is. He's got 3 years of film that he a dude,
Well, yeah.
But
why did Tomlin get rid of him, though? I mean, Tomlin knows players. I mean, why would they get rid of a player like that?
I mean, they didn't gel, it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? And also, look, I respect Tomlin, but Tomlin ain't won a damn playoff game in like 15 years, though, so...
I know, but he makes some playoffs. So.
Okay, who cares?
They're a pretty good organization.
Sonny, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight you, Sonny, but I don't give a damn about no making the playoffs. We can Come on, Sonny.
Yeah,
come on, Sonny. Yeah.
I know that. I've been, I'm way older than you. I was born in 1944.
Exactly.
I'm a little over 80 years old now.
1944.
Yeah, 6/11/44 is my birthday.
Yo,
I've
Sonny,
seen
you've
a lot
been
of
around the
stuff over
block.
my time and stuff. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get in football another few more years, but I'm almost at the point now. I just want to turn the son of a bitch off, It's gotten so busy. But, hey, I really don't want to be negative stuff. I want to say my big question is, do you think if Dak Prescott gets injured again this year, do we move on from him?
Very possible. If he suffers another bad injury, they're probably going to be thinking about how to get out of that. I ain't going to lie to you,
I mean, where do we go in the draft, or do we go for somebody that's already? I mean, where do we go?
Let's play your scenario out here. If that's the case, right, and they're looking to move on or whatever, I think they start with Milton and the draft, right? They'll say, okay, let's play Milton the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then depending on how bad they are, if they're bad enough to be in the top 10, top 5, then hell yeah, they're going to draft a quarterback, bro.
Well, yeah, but, who's to say that? It's kind of a ticking thing, but I don't know. I heard that injury he had is pretty bad, though, that time, because he ain't going to be able to run, am I correct?
No, he'll be able to
be as mobile.
He'll be able to run. He'll be able to run. It's just he's never been the last like 5 since he snapped his ankle. Really, he ain't been like a Lamar Jackson runner. It's just a matter of if he wants to. He'll be able to run. He's not going to be a dynamic runner. We just need him to scramble. All right. That's all I care about. Scramble, get the 3-yard first down, get down. That's all I care about, man. I don't need you to have 700 rush yards.
I give the Cowboys a 28-17 win on the first game.
Let's go.
It's my score, 28-17 Dallas.
All right, Sonny. 28-17. I like
win that game don't mean we're going to go to the Super Bowl either.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a diehard Cowboy fan ever since I was come out of between my mama's legs.
Bro, they wasn't even the Cowboys when you came out of
Oh, yeah, I used to ride bulls, dude. I'm a bull rider. I've always been a cowboy.
You've been a cowboy before the Cowboys was the Cowboys, Sonny. That's crazy.
Cowboys, you damn right.
You damn rootin' right.
It's gonna be a good year though.
Yo, there's
a lot of unknowns though. We got a lot of unknowns.
There's a lot of known knowns and a lot of unknown knowns. You right about that?
But don't be surprised if Kansas City does not make the playoffs this year. There's gonna be an injury. It's going to be a key injury. It's going to keep them out. Just like the 49ers. Who would have thought the 49ers would have missed after?
Yeah, it's always a surprise.
They didn't even come in as a wild card.
No, they had a down year. They'll bounce back, though, man. The Niners are a quality organization.
Well,
yeah,
they'll all bounce back, but still,
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Denver Broncos win that division.
Fam, I'm not doubting you.
Hey, that's going to be a tough game when we go to see the Broncos.
Yeah, we ain't beating them since
I got a lot of
Elway was there.
relatives, because I live here in Colorado. I got a lot of family and stuff are Bronco fans.
Oh, you live in Denver?
No, I live right here in Durango, Colorado.
Oh, you live in but you live where? So you got that good air, right? That's good air over there.
Oh, hell yeah. I got good air and we got good suspense.
Yeah, we got,
we got the good stuff here, buddy. High altitude. Get up about 11,000 feet.
That's why Sonny can go 80-some years.
11,000 feet. Spark up one, then you tell me about it.
Man, I'm going to have to do that,
Especially
Sonny.
when you're sucking in that air, low oxygen.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
that's why you're able to.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we got it really good. We've had a really cool winter all winter. We didn't get much moisture over here where we were at, but I think it's going to turn out to be a good year for everybody.
Yeah. Hey, man, appreciate the call, Sonny. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But don't be surprised if Kansas City does not make the playoffs.
As many times you done told me, I ain't going to be surprised, Sonny.
Yeah,
I believe you. You've been around the block.
On this date today.
This date, 5/19, from our guy, Sonny.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
All right, man. Hey,
you got it.
Enjoy that.
Hey, it's good to see you back on.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see you back on.
Yes, sir. Good to hear from you.
On YouTube again.
Good to hear from you.
I don't know where you went, but it's good to have you back. And you did a good show with the other 4 guys with Law.
Thank you.
And that white dude and that other guy that lives out. What's his name? That young guy, the other guy.
John Machota and Foot's the king, Sonny.
Yeah, Foots. He's pretty good.
Yeah, Foots is the man.
I started watching him. I've been watching him more and more and more.
Keep watching. Foots know what the hell he talking about. Keep watching, man. Keep watching. Keep supporting my guy.
Oh, I watch all you guys, dude.
Yeah.
But some of them kind of went off too, though.
Yeah. But just keep supporting the collective. The white guy, Law, and Foots.
I watch you from the time I get up in the morning till the time I go to bed at night. That's all I watch is YouTube here.
Man, that's heavy.
So. But I'm glad to see you back. This is where you belong, boss.
I'm back, Sonny. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. See you later, boss.
Man,
Bye-bye.
what a call. Let's go. Sonny still on the horn. Appreciate you. Hey, I did not know Sonny was around the block like that. I gotta listen to. Hey, man, somebody been around that long? I ain't gonna be surprised. He said it. Don't be surprised. He said a lot of times. Don't be surprised if Kansas City. I'm not no more. No. Ooh. Only time I ever been and saw the mountains of Colorado, I flew over. I'm going to Vegas. That's it. It was what a weird thing too. By the way, like you see the snow, and then 10 minutes later you see desert. It's kind of cool. But man, shouts out to Sonny. What I'm gonna have to run that call back. 1944. I knew Sonny was on that good air. Because I've been Sonny before. The hell you mean, Sky? I'll admit, when I partake in the festivities, when we go on the walk, oh man, y'all gonna love the walk, by the way. For the new people that aren't here, just stick if you can. If I don't scare you away, stick around to the regular season. The regular season is fun, man. The regular season is mad fun. I've been the guy on the walk or the porch. You know, you forget to pass it and you just get to going. You start talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, Micah getting 30 sacks. Next thing you know, they're like, hey, man. Oh, my bad. Here you go. I've been the guy on the walk, man. It happens. We all been there. 931. We gonna keep this thing going. We going here. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Sky? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm straight, bro. Hey, look, it's good to hear you back
Thank
on the online, man. It's been one of them off seasons. I've just been excited about everything, bro, and I've been looking forward to hearing from Raj, seeing what he's got to say, Brian, hearing from you, Foots, seeing what Law got to say. Here, man, it's a good time to be a, because now we are in this area where it's kind of just like blank. We've got so much stuff that can go right, should go right. What all these possibilities right now with a new head coach, new coordinating staff and whatnot, and just a whole bunch of excitement right now. And it's good to hear all the stuff put out to where we can wait. We don't have to have expectations. We can just wait and absorb everything. And it's a good feeling. Wanted to know, how do you feel, because I've always been an advocate for Deuce, but with this running back room being so wide open, do you feel like he could be, it could be a situation where you actually have Jaden Blue and Deuce at your 1-2 with, Williams, or do you think that it'll probably be Williams as your starter, then Blue, and have like one of the other three?
I think if Deuce is going to be a part of the rotation of the committee, it has to be 3 backs. I just don't think Deuce is going to be a guy they trust in pass protection. I don't think Jaden Blue is going to be a guy they trust in pass protection. That's why I have JaVante Williams in the lead right now as that kind of lead guy. So, and I think Deuce might be the better runner of all of them, right? Like this pure, absolute runner. It's just, it is what it is, man. At his size, he's not a guy you're counting on in that manner. And that's important, right? And then when it comes to pass catching, that's Blue's role right there, right? Getting Blue out in space. He's a more dynamic space satellite back. So I think if Deuce is going to be a part of this thing, it's going to be a legitimate committee. There'll be 3 backs. They'll use all 3 in different manner. You said the other question was, do I think it'll be Blue and then a combination of maybe Sanders, Williams, and Maffa?
I was thinking it would probably be like maybe if we finally get them into the rotation, I think it might be like a Blue, Vaughn, and probably Williams. I'm just thinking like first down being Williams, second down being Williams, and then like depending on how the series goes, like just interchange between those two, between Vaughn and Blue. But I want him to actually have a chance in the running back room for once.
Who?
Because I know that he had Vaughn. Okay. Like I know that Blue's gonna have his, and I know that Williams is gonna have his chance. I don't know who the others are gonna be. It's gonna be, because I know that they're going to carry at least 3 backs. I believe that it's probably gonna be. I know Blue's gonna be there. Williams is gonna be there, and I don't know if it's gonna be Sanders, Vaughn,
You breaking up? You breaking up a little bit, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the call. Oh, you beyond breaking up, dog. They just abducted my guy. My man just got abducted. Hey, I hear what you're saying. I agree, actually. I think if this is the room that they're going to work with, and not bringing in nobody else, not trading anybody, it's definitely a legitimate committee. It has to be. It almost has to be. And I think you'll see. Okay, if you go look in Tampa, that's a good one. Tampa used 3 backs last year. I think they had 3 backs that totaled the rock or touched the rock like 60 times or more, something like that. You obviously had White and my man from Oregon. Those were your 2 heavy hitters. And then they had a 3rd back who also got involved from time to time. I think that's going to be the case if this is the room. I don't think there's going to be just one lead guy from the start. He's going to finish with 285 carries and 55 receptions. I think maybe somebody by the end of the year may stand out and they lean in that guy a little bit more. But to start, I don't know how you don't use 3 backs here. Plus when you think about it, when we get to the playoffs, I think you want to get these backs. You want to have these backs in an established role, and I think that's going to take figuring that out as the years go on. And look, I'm sitting here talking about playoffs. Cowboys may not get there, but the goal is to get there. And when you're there, you don't want to get there and not know how to use these dudes. We don't want to roll it. We don't want what happened in 21, 22, 23. Hell, all 3 years really, where we're not balanced and we're not utilizing the little bit of skill you did have back there, right? You're not using it to their strengths. And I do think if this is the room, it's going to take some mixing and matching. It took that last year. They tried to get Deuce gone, but the way they were doing it to me was, I don't know, man. I don't think Deuce really got a fair opportunity. He gonna get one now, and if he can't cut it, he'll get cut. That's just what's gonna happen. Yes, sir, young star. OTAs are today. We got a really long show today, so if you missed the beginning of it, run it back. We talked about what I'm looking for at OTAs, and one of the things I was looking for the running back room was the rotation. All right. Another thing I was looking at was wide receiver 3. The battle begins, so I'm curious to see who kind of starts off at wide receiver 3, and then Pickens is headlining the trades, but we forgot about the other 3 trades. I want to see where these guys fall in the depth chart. All right, last one here. 732. Let's get you up in here. And you're gonna send us out. Or 747. I apologize. 747, you live.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Yeah, this is Q, man. I'm the one that called in when you had Toxic Tom, and I was in the comments, and you were hyping up. You were hyping up the class and your boy bowed out, man, and you was accusing me of taking your show over. How's it going, brother?
I think I remember Q. I don't know all that the details, but I remember when you called Q. You and Toxic were definitely going on.
Okay, yeah. Actually, Toxic wasn't even saying anything because my thing was, and the point I'm here to make today is that, and I don't need to be a cheerleader for any billionaires, but Cowboy Nation is just interesting how we criticize the Joneses when they're not doing anything. We accuse them of that, but they bring them in Pickens. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anyone say good job, the Joneses, for bringing in, making the trade for the draft. I don't hear any of that. So why is there a double standard? Why?
Damn, Q. You need to fix your filter. Hey, bro, you gotta tune into the right people, big dog. I don't know who you're listening to or whatnot, and that's you. Maybe you could tell us, but there's definitely been praising. People have definitely the Cowboys have been praised nationally, which is a surprise, about the draft. And obviously the community has been giving them hella respect for the draft, but the draft is a draft. We knew that they do good in the draft. The Pickens trade, again, I don't know who you listening to, but our community is extremely high on the Pickens, and we've definitely given them. In fact, I think a caller just called in a couple calls ago, and we talked about, we got to give the Joneses credit for this thing. And I know on this show we did the same thing. So I'm not sure who you listening to, But
I'm not talking about colors. I'm talking about you and your comrades.
Exactly. So I don't know who. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who you're listening to, but everyone in the community has given them credit. Now, what we're not about to do is we're not about to sit here and put on a cape and the Superman cape for them and all that stuff. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, and we gave them credit. But don't get me. I don't know what you want us. Do you want us to like spend show after show? Patting the Joneses on, like I'm not sure what you're looking for here.
I want y'all. This is what I want. Come to the realization, it's not about the owners all the time. It's about the players making plays on the football field.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
This season, go ahead. And this season is going to come down to number 4, the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a big part of it.
And him having to carry the Cowboys in the playoffs. That's what it's going to come down to.
That's a problem.
I don't want no excuses.
Then that's a problem.
I don't want no excuses.
But that's a problem. If the season comes down to your quarterback having to carry you through the playoffs, that is a problem. That's the whole reason why you bring in a Clayton Adams. That's the whole reason why you'll get a George Pickens. That's the whole reason why you hopefully bring in more on defense. So your quarterback doesn't have to carry you through the playoffs so that it isn't a complete team game. But I feel like you're just trying to manufacture an argument for no reason. I think everybody agrees it's not just ownership, but they play a big hand in it. So do the players. And we definitely have given them credit. So I'm not really sure who you're listening to, my boy, but we're not about to just kiss their ass 24/7 for doing it. We gave them the credit. Let's keep it moving.
But if you're gonna toil out blame, accountability, make it even. Don't just put it on the ownership.
And we did. What do you mean? We did. What you want us to do, my boy? Let me give you some advice. Let me give you some advice. If you think there's not enough of that, if there's not enough praising of the Joneses and divvying out other things, my boy, start a show. Like I'm not even trying to be funny. I don't care if you got to pick up your phone, just do recordings, do a thing on Twitter. If you think there's not enough voices that are doing that, do it. I'm telling you, you will have a crowd that'll listen to you. I'm just giving you some advice, bro, because it seemed like you want us and other creators to do something that you want to do, and we're not doing it enough. So start a show, my boy, and I promise you'll have people come listening to what you got to say if we're not doing it enough for you.
I appreciate that, Scott, but I just believe in accountability. And now, Mr. Prescott, you got a 1 and a 1A at wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
And so I know we got to get the running game
get it going.
And the O-line, we got those young high draft picks, and so we'll see what the defense does. But I just have a feeling, like I said, in the playoffs, he's going to have to carry us in the playoffs. I don't know what game it is, but it's going to come down to Mr. Prescott.
Q.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Q. There's going to be and there's going to be a game where, look, your defense may have to carry you, your quarterback may have to carry you, your coaching. That's how teams. If you go look at teams that make a run, it's not one person. I think the problem, and you watch this show, Q. My problem with the Cowboys in the playoffs is we are so one-dimensional. Name me a one-dimensional team that constantly just crushes it through the playoffs. It doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen. And I don't. No,
Kansas City is
Q. They're not one. Q. They're not one-dimensional. Q. They've had fantastic. They have arguably the greatest playoff defensive coordinator in the history of the game over there, and their defenses have been unbelievable in the playoffs. Unbelievable.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to get at is if what you're saying, if it's going to come down to Dak doing that 3 or 4 times in a row, then brother, I don't expect a deep run. Now, a specific moment, absolutely. There's going to be a moment or a game where, hey man, Ford, we need you to put this on our backs at least for this game, and that's where we got to see if he can do it.
Oh, so you already okay. So you basically already have a built-in excuse for him, right? Is that what it is?
Bro,
you sound like you already have a built-in excuse for him. That's what
excuse? What? See, this is what I mean by you need to make your own show, bro. There is no excuse, my boy. If he goes out there and he plays bad, guess what we're going to talk about? Him playing bad. If the team goes out there and they play bad, guess what we're going to talk about? The team playing bad. There is no built-in excuse. We are in May. We might not even make the playoffs. What are you talking about?
All right. Okay.
All right, hey, I'm telling you, Q, start your show, my boy. You can't keep calling in here getting mad at people because we're in every show if Dak Prescott don't do it, he sucks. That's just not, brother, that's not gonna happen, man. We too, come on, man. We can think critically. We're too mature football wise for that, bro. Come on, man.
Of course. You're absolutely correct. I just want accountability at the quarterback position. I don't want excuses. We didn't make excuses for Troy. We didn't make excuses for Steve Walsh.
Brother,
we didn't make excuses for Quincy Carter.
Fair enough. But I'm telling you, if start your show, my boy, there'll be plenty of people tuning in. Because this is some low-hanging fruit ass debate. I don't call it debating. This is some no excuses. What are we doing? What are we talking about? No excuses, bro. OTAs is about to start. We talking about depth. We talking about, schemes. We're talking about how to quarterback and running back. We talking about so many different nuanced things. We coming in here with no excuses, bro. That's dead period talk. If you want to do that, I mean, that's cool, but this ain't the show for that. I'm not gonna scream in the mountaintops about excuses and Jerry every day I go live, brother. It's just not gonna be me, man. So start your own show, bro.
All right, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. And I'm not even being like disrespectful. I've told other people the same thing, like. You want my show and our shows in the community to be tailored to that anger, to that rage and that bait. I'm not even trying to beat a dead or be on a high horse here, man. I just love the game so much more that there's so many other aspects of it that low hanging fruit shit don't do it for me. I'm not coming on here every day. No excuses for that. And that's the entire show every single time. No, man. Now you want to have a nuanced conversation about it? Let's do it, baby. Let's go. Right? But there's so many other aspects to the game of football, to this team that I love, that I want to talk about with y'all. But this is Q's third time in every call. No excuses. Dak Prescott sucks and all this stuff. I bet, bro. I mean, okay. We That's it? That's all you got? All right, man. Hey, start your channel, bro. There are many people that will eat that up. There's a dude who got a show, just a channel straight about Dak sucks. I'm telling you, bro, you probably make some money off that. But we are way more nuanced here on this channel. Way more. Because guess what? We're going to be fans here longer past Dak. Whenever Dak goes, whoever the next quarterback is, bro, we're going to be breaking this thing down. We're going to be cheering for that guy too. And if he don't get it done, he's going to be talking the same shit y'all talk about with him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. It's May. My man fed up already in May. Bro didn't even throw a pass out there yet. And he talking about built-in excuses. What built-in excuses? What are you talking about? Yeah, he almost got the do-rag a little bit.
Super chat.
TB dropped 5 and said, Dak haters make built-in excuses for the entire team. Running backs average 2.5 yards per carry. Defense gives up 40 plus. Yeah, but Dak, no excuses for anyone. Facts, no excuses for anyone, man. No excuses for anyone. I think the problem is I'm not animated enough either way. I think people want me to yell, scream, get crazy both ways. And if you've been watching me long enough, whether it's a good performance, bad performance, we're going to talk about it. But I don't need to go so far left or so far right with it. Bruh, if it doesn't work out, the other caller said if Dak gets hurt, what do we do? Probably looking to move on. I'm not about to sit here and cry about it. I understand that's a possibility. He goes into the playoffs and stinks it up. We're going to talk about it. And probably talk about moving. I had a whole entire show dedicated to what does it look like to move on from Dak? Advice: start your own show if this is what it's going to be every time you want to tune into a Cowboy show, or go to those channels, one or the other. That's all. That's all, man. No. Here's the thing: I give them a voice. Somebody said, "Tell them to be quiet." I give everybody a voice. My only thing I ask you guys to bring is more to the conversation. Marco is not a Dak fan. Me and Marco have won at him many a times. I don't care if you're not a Dak fan. What I love about Marco is that when he calls in, he has more to talk about than that. So I appreciate that. That's all. Couple more supers, and then we can get about it.
Super chat.
Delay? Oh, I got you, Delay already. Monet Sky said, Fave morning show. If we are competitive after the bye week for that stretch, it will be telling 100 because after that bye week, it gets real. It gets real, period.
Super chat.
DB dropped 5 and said, caller, a subscriber on the Haters of Dak channel they talk about a lot. Caller, a subscriber on the Haters of a Dak channel they talk about a lot. I'm not sure what you mean, DB, but I'm sure there's Dak. I hate Dak channels like 100%. I know there is. TB dropped 5.
Super chat.
He said Dak. I already did that one, man. He said Dak haters with the built-in excuse. And then Josh just dropped 5. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
Would love to know your setup and talk to you offline about it. Very professional setup. Thank you, Josh. Reach out to me on Twitter at Skywalker Steel. Scrolling down there. I get a lot of people asking me about it, and we have conversations. Wrestling with the Bros. You drop one? You said where your super go? I don't see one. Yeah, there is no super from you, my man. I should have hit the table and said it's my turn. Nah, man, I ain't. Only because me and Q have talked before. So I knew where this was going, right? I knew where this was going. All right, look, with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here. All 700 and some of y'all stuck through the entire time. I actually didn't intend on this going long, but you know how we do, man. You know how we do. Open up the lines and we get going. You guys ask some fantastic questions, have some entertaining calls, and we rap about it. I will be back Wednesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live yet or not. You know what? I'll tease it. I was going to make it a surprise, but I'll tease it. I got to press the button. Hold on. I got to press the button. And 2I will be maybe live. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a video with her, but we're going to be breaking down what she may have saw or heard or what have you out there at OTAs. She's in the building, right? She does a fantastic show with the Girls Talk, Boys Talk podcast, and she's doing her own thing too. Make sure y'all support her on her YouTube page, Aisha Morrison. She'll be in the building. We'll be breaking down OTA practice 2. Yeah, it'll be 2 because today they practice, tomorrow's media. So that'll be a fun conversation. And then we moved the collective. Let me just confirm this here. We're usually on Mondays, but we moved the collective, I believe, to tomorrow. So we'll be live tomorrow. John Machota is quite literally down there on the field and seeing everything and talking to the players. So y'all, look, if y'all want to get some good nuggets, insight stuff, and then obviously you'll have me, Foots, and Law breaking things down surrounding John Machota's takes and what he sees. Come on through. Go over, hit that sub button on the collective, and twice a week we got y'all covered, man. Got y'all covered. Yeah, man, I definitely want to get Pat back on. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Appreciate you, sir. He said, damn, I love this show. I love y'all. Even Q. Man, I love that. Like I always say, and please, new people, do not, if y'all disagree, if y'all think he sucked, call in, let's talk about it. Y'all think this team sucked, call in, let's talk about it. I've had many of opposite debate battles, even with some of my good brethrens, my OGs. I'm not afraid of that smoke, man. Y'all know this. I'm also not trying to suppress your voice either. And in fact, I just told Q, man, amplify your voice, brother. If you think we're not being fair or whatever it is, amplify your voice. Go start that show. Go start it. I'll shout you out. All right. Now, we're going to get up out of here for real. Press this goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Don't forget, shop Mando, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm not even playing. This ain't just all you just reading. This is some good stuff right here, man. This is some good stuff. Use the promo code STEELE, and they got you covered. Love y'all. We out of here. Peace.